Welcome to the Ray Tank. This is a Rays podcast. We noticed that there were not many Rays podcasts out on like Apple and everything, and we figured there should be. So we decided to make one. The goal was to make one after the Rays won the World Series. However, that did not end up happening. So here we are, a little late, but the Rays went to the World Series. We took Dodgers game 6 and just
Shout
didn't.
out starting nine for the inspo. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, Starting Nine is a great podcast we both listen to. So shout out Jared and Braden and Jay. Hey.
Yeah. All right. So there's a lot of bad that came from the World Series, but let's just talk about the Rays getting to the World Series first. I mean, that's unexpected. The Yankees go out and get Garrett Cole. Everybody says they're a clear favorite to win. The Rays had something to say about it. Mike Brousseau had something to say about it to Aroldis Chapman.
Yeah, dude, that's a good point.
And then people predict them to get swept by the Dodgers, and they were a couple of bad decisions away from winning the bitch. So
Let's just rewind real quick because you were talking about the Yankees getting Garrett Cole. Do you remember how bad like Twitter was when the
Yes.
Yankees signed Garrett Cole? Like, dude, that was almost unbearable. Like, you had Barstool Hubs talking like, "Oh, Yankees just won the World Series." Dude, it's like what? Garrett Cole signed in what, February or something? Like January? Like,
it's like, hey, dude, this isn't basketball. You don't sign one big free agent and get guaranteed to the NBA Finals.
yeah, I could have told you the Lakers were winning this year, but when the Yankees signed Garrett Cole, obviously didn't work out that way. So, we kind of have a little plan for this episode because first time wanted to have a good podcast. However, I wanted to emphasize the fact that the 2020 Rays, with the third lowest payroll in baseball, made it all the way to the World Series. And yeah, well, it's not the first time the Rays made it to the World Series, obviously. But, the last time we were there, didn't win against the Phillies. What, 08 Phillies? Yeah, like Chase Utley, Jimmy Rollins, Ryan Howard.
Roy Halladay.
Mm-hmm.
That was a squad.
Mm-hmm.
That was an absolute squad. But
Shane Victorino.
It doesn't even come close to this Dodgers team.
Oh, this Dodgers team, if you put this Dodgers team up against that Phillies team, I guarantee you they absolutely smoke them. Like, it's not even close. Like, that's a Clayton Kershaw, Dustin May, Walker Buehler three-piece shove, and you're already down 3-0.
Yeah, we were talking about it. It's like when you're playing the Yankees, it's different because like you don't really get nervous. When you're playing the Dodgers, every 1 through 9, you're nervous.
Oh, yeah. And, well, besides the fact that the Rays went and played so well against them, like this like regular season, 8-2, like, you go into that matchup and you're feeling good. Like, you get that matchup against the Yankees in a 5-game series where you have Tyler Glasnow, Blake Snell, Charlie Morton, and then that stable, as Kevin Cash affectionately refers to him. Like, you're feeling good about that. And honestly, when I saw us getting that matchup against the Yankees, I was not thinking Game 5. I was thinking, all right, Garrett Cole, it's going to be a tough game. You get Masahiro Tanaka, playoff Tanaka. Dude, get out of here. Not worried about him. Then you get, who's even their third starter? Who was it?
The pitcher that was promised.
Oh, they had Davy Garcia, yeah. They had Davy Garcia come in for an inning. What a bad decision by Boone.
Yeah.
Like, that was bad. Anyways, move on. You have Brasso, doing his thing against Chapman. Fuck you, Aroldis Chapman. You're a piece of shit. I fucking don't like you.
Huge at bat.
He deserved that. And I don't think, aside from maybe like Roberto Ozuna, like, what better person to have that happen to?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Like Starlin Castro gets domed up by a fastball. And it's like, that's sick too. But
yeah, dude. Not only was I happy for the Rays, obviously moving on because that was Game 5, but just the fact that it actually happened off Chapman, he shot a gun to scare his wife. You're a piece of shit, dude. You are a piece of shit.
And then he smiles the same way he did when Altuve went deep. That's awesome, dude.
Although, to be fair, like, he was smiling for a different reason when the Astros did that to him. But, we're not gonna go into that right now. Actually, we are, because then the Rays move on to the Astros. The last time we faced them last year was in the ALDS. You go down 0-2, come back 2-2. Rough Game 5. We're out of there.
Now tips pitches, apparently.
I no, he was. Did you actually? He came out and said what he was doing.
Yeah, his glove was like down on curveballs and
And
up
then
on.
it was like above his nose, and then like I don't know, it was weird, but yeah, history did not repeat itself. When I saw the Astros get into the ALDS against the A's, I was like, all right, boom, you're on the A's number 1 seed, A's number 2 seed in ALCS. It's gonna be fun. And then the Astros have something to say about that. Their bats came to life. All that yada yada yada. Beat the A's 3-1. And I'll be honest, I was a little nervous. I was a little nervous going into that series.
100%, because you think like it's baseball, dude. Like it has a way of taking your love and just shoving it, because you think the Astros get in, and you're like, more people would watch that series, because not a lot of people. I mean, the Rays are a low payroll. There's always the joke that it's elderly people in the stands, and I think a lot of people would have rather seen the Astros and the Dodgers. But I think at the end of the day, the better team won. I mean, if we're being honest.
Oh, 100%. I mean, not only were the Astros the first team in Major League history to make it to the postseason with a negative record. I mean, that's not like breaking news or anything. That's been going around on Twitter for a month now, a month and a half. But the fact that they made it there was already crazy, and you can thank Rob Manfred for that, whatever you want to do. The new playoff schedule because of COVID, all that kind of stuff. But they proved that they should have been there. 100%. And as much as I don't like the Astros, well, let me take that back. I don't like certain people on the Astros. Carlos Correa, you're a piece of shit. Fuck you.
Yeah. I don't like it.
Don't like Correa. Altuve is like whatever on Altuve. I like Bregman. Springer's all right. We'll get to Springer a little bit more later, but
it's not gonna be an action.
Yeah. So, you go up 3-0. And I mean, like at this point, I'm like, wow, we're actually about to sweep them. Like that's awesome. I mean, you have what? Glasnow comes out game 1, does decent enough to get the win, right? You have Snell comes out game 2, same kind of thing. Went like 4 2/3, like 2 runs, whatever.
It's the classic pitch count analytics, whatever they're gonna run.
Yeah, we'll get more on that later. Pain, champagne without the sham, right? But then we lose 3 straight after that. Yeah. So you're looking at, you're up 3-0. You're feeling good. All of a sudden, boom, Astros turn around. It's 3-3. You see all the stats coming out here and there. Oh, there's never been a team that goes up 3-0 to let a team come back 3-3, then wins it. Like the only other time there's been a 3-0 comeback to 3-3, what was it, 2004 Red Sox, 2007 or something like that. 2004 Red Sox, 2005 Red Sox came back, beat the Yankees. I was up in Georgia. I was at my hunting camp, and the Rays lost Game 6. And I'm sitting there, and I'm barely getting like Wi-Fi or whatever. And I'm just, dude, like we really just lost that series. This is after Game 6, and I should have more faith, obviously, because we came back and won. But the fact that I got that far, I was, dude. And I think my reaction was similar to Tampa Bay. Like I don't know anyone when I was talking to people, I don't know a single person that was like, you know what, dude, doesn't matter, we're winning this next game. Like I don't know anyone that thought that. And
baseball is just such a momentum game.
Exactly.
And so when the Dodgers come back from 3-1 and then they go into the World Series and they're in the same park they played in for 3 weeks now, their momentum is rolling into the World Series. I mean, 3-1. I mean, if the Dodgers win in like 5, there's really no there's no like grit to that team. But they came back 3-1 against an Atlanta Braves team that was damn good this year, and so they're rolling. But the Rays, I mean, they do what they usually do. They prevail. You get Game 7, Morton, and then you roll out there. I mean, it's what you do.
Yeah. Well, because I was gonna say, like, to piggyback of what you were talking about, like. The Astros came back and they made that comeback, which is incredible because, like you said, that Braves team, unreal this year. Very good team. I mean, you're looking at the NL MVP and Freddie Freeman. You're looking at Max Fried, who's an NL Cy Young candidate, Rookie of the Year candidate. Actually, is he considered a rookie? I think he is, right?
Fried was a rookie last year.
Was he? Okay, so you're still looking at an NL Cy Young, right? You're looking beginning of the season, Mike Soroka goes down with Achilles injury, and you're like, oh, shit. Like, Braves, that's not a good look. Like, Fultonavich isn't doing good. They ended up they ended up outrighting him, right? They ended up just sending him back down or something. Because I don't think he definitely was not with that team in the end.
Is that
Fultonavich?
Oh yeah, no.
They assigned him somewhere.
I forget. I don't even know. Like after Freed, I honestly could not tell you.
Well, Ian Anderson came up at the end. He was a stud, dude.
Yeah.
He was a postseason stud. He made 8 starts in the regular season.
Kyle Hendricks for the Cubs. That's what that guy was for the Braves.
Well, he was throwing like 93, right? 93 or 94?
Like out of nowhere, dude.
Yeah.
Kyle Hendricks from the Braves one, dude was like placing balls everywhere he wanted.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fair. I mean, Ian Anderson came up, and he was a good, like, 1-2 punch with Max Fried. I mean, Max Fried, he started off the postseason well, and he got to his Marlins start, and he kind of, like, was shaky after that. But Ian Anderson, dude, credit to him. He was lights. Lights out. You know what I'm saying? But then again, I mean, the Dodgers, they just made it happen. Like, they're the Dodgers, you know? Obviously, they're the World Series champions, so they're a really good team. They made the comeback, and it's not like it wasn't like Brian Snitker had any like bad moves that you can really think of, right? Like it wasn't like he was Kevin Cash it. Like
it's the same thing. It's the same thing with the Astros and the Rays. The better team won the series in the end.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Yeah. I mean, though to be fair, I think that Braves lineup and even their pitching staff. I mean, if you put Mike Soroka in that series, I think they win. I think they win 4-1, 4-2. Honestly, because then you have Mike Soroka just there to shut that off after game. Because the Braves went up 2-0 and then went 2-1, 3-1, and then they went out. So, I mean, I think once you get to that 3-2, you probably don't get to 3-2.
Yeah, because that Dodgers team in the CS is not the same Dodgers team in the World Series.
No,
they're just.
They had all the momentum. I mean, they had all the momentum, and they've been playing in the same ballpark, like you said, for weeks straight. And the Rays had to come over from Petco, which, if you know, things could have been a little different if it was at Petco. Who knows? But I don't know, man. I mean, the Dodgers won, so the Dodgers go up game 1. Let's just kind of go over the World Series real quick, because I mean, obviously, if you're listening to this podcast, chances are you watched the World Series. But who are we to not talk about it as a Rays podcast? Predominantly Rays, anyways. You know, you go down 1-0 because Clayton Kershaw shoves. Yeah. You know, playoff Kershaw, that curse is over. And as much as I am a Rays fan and as much as I wanted the Rays to win, I am actually happy that Clayton Kershaw got a ring.
100%. I love to see Clayton Kershaw with the ring.
Yeah.
100%.
And I think honestly, I don't know how to put this. It seems to me that the Rays had a stigma around them this year, that they were a boring team to watch, which I completely disagree with. I think that team was very fun to watch. And
you have Randy Arozarena, who's just setting records.
Yeah.
How is that a boring team?
But did you not hear? I'm pretty sure you heard the same thing I did. That people were talking about Rays being boring, blah, blah, blah. Like, I understand part of that is because they want the Astros-Dodgers rematch. But, dude, the Rays are a fun team. I don't care what anyone says. The Rays were a fun team in 2020. I mean, you got G-Man Choi talking about the money. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, how can you not like that team?
When you have a bullpen that's that dominant, how can you not love a team like that? Like, when you go to a game, well, post-COVID, let's say, you go to a game, and the first guy out of your pen throws 100, it's like, well, you're not going to see another 100. No, next guy, 102. How about that? Oh, the closer, you want him? 98 with movement. Okay, sit down. Thanks for coming.
But let's not overlook the fact that we're talking about a bullpen that was this dominant, that had 7 arms on the IR during the postseason and had 15 on the IR throughout the season. You're talking about the best bullpen in baseball who went down to AA to get arms? Are you serious?
Hey, and these are guys who aren't getting paid. Yeah. They are not getting paid.
Yeah, and Garrett Cole's getting paid as much as the whole Rays starting lineup, basically.
Yes, and they're doing things that nobody is doing.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's more of a tip of the cap to the Rays coaching staff or the Rays scouting department or the Rays, like, whatever, dude. But these guys came out of nowhere and they shoved. And, dude, I would be shocked if we don't see most of them next year. Shocked. I'd be beyond shocked.
I'd be shocked if we're not in the same position next year.
We're going to talk about what the Rays did move-wise already so far, because free agency started today. We're recording on Sunday the 1st. So free agency started today at 5 p.m. Eastern time. and the Rays have already made moves. They've already declined contracts or options and stuff, you know. So we'll get into that after we talk about the World Series, right? So we have game one, Clayton Kershaw. Shout out to you. You deserve your ring. If you ever hear this, I'm happy for you. Rays fan, I'm happy for you in your ring.
Tyler Glasnow goes out, and the poor guy only has 2 pitches.
Yeah.
And when your curveball doesn't work, you have to throw fastballs. Yeah. So when you throw fastballs, they're going to sit fastball. It's just what a good baseball player does.
I mean, he got the dub though. You know, he got the win. Mm-hmm. I mean, but like you said, the 2 pitches, like he won game 1, but it was close. It was what? He gave up 4, and we won like 6-4. I think we won 6-4 game 2.
For the Dodgers?
No, 6-4 Rays on game 2. He gave up 4. Like Glasnow gave up 4. Pretty sure. It was 2 or 4.
Glasnow threw game 1.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they were just.
I'm tripping. I'm thinking of Blake Snell's. My bad.
Yeah. And then Blake Snell goes out game 2.
Yeah.
He has a decent outing, but the Rays offense just does what they're supposed to do when it's who's pitching for the
Game 2 was Tony Gonsolin started, and then kind of like a bullpen day. So you had Tony Gonsolin come out, and Brandon Lau. Real quick, really bad postseason. I mean, you were talking this guy in the middle of the season. You're like 35, 40 games in. He's an MVP candidate. Yeah. This guy's mashing. He's over 40 games in. He has like 12 tanks already, and you're like, all right, he's a legit MVP candidate. He's in the conversation with Mike Trout. Obviously, you gotta have Mike Trout in the conversation. Then you have Jose Abreu mashing, Tim Anderson, and then Shane Bieber.
Yeah,
Triple Crown. But Brandon Lau is right there as well. Like he is probably number 5 on the list, but he's there. And I only say he's number 5 because he's on the Rays.
Because he's on exactly what I was gonna say. He's only number 5 because he's on the Rays.
Yeah.
If he's on any other team, he's number 3 because I think he was better this year than Abreu and Anderson.
Yeah.
At that point in time.
Yeah. I mean, it's like you hear the term West Coast baseball teams a lot, as in the fact like most of the Eastern Standard Time people live on the East Coast aren't watching them every night, so they don't really know as much about them. Brandon Lau is a West Coast baseball player on an East Coast team.
Right.
I mean, to be fair, the whole Rays is a West Coast baseball team, but I mean, he was not getting enough. Like people were talking about it. Obviously, like you can't have that good of a season and not talk about it. But like, aside from like MLB Network, like the main like show, like you weren't really hearing about Brandon Lau. Like he wasn't big on Twitter or anything like that. Like
he was not trending on Twitter.
Yeah, he was having a good season, bottom line, right? You get to the postseason, a flip switches, his butthole gets like this. I mean, didn't have the same postseason. And not to say he's not a clutch person. Who knows? No. He's young. He's very young. He's 25, you know?
They played 60 games. And if you play baseball, you know that your game goes like this, and then it goes like this, and then it goes like this. So it just so happened, and it sucks for Brandon Lau, but it just so happened that he cooled down at the wrong time. But we talk about Arozarena. This dude was like this, and then postseason comes, and he turns like this and straight up.
No, because when we called him up, he already had like 7 home runs in like 10 games in the regular season. Like he started as soon as he got there, and then postseason hit, and he became a different animal. Like it just continued, and people saw it because it was the postseason. Like whereas like in the end of the regular season, the Rays already clinched. Like no one's really paying that much attention to the Rays anymore because they're already there. So you kind of focus on the teams that are still fighting for their spots. Like the Rays are no longer really being talked about as much. They're already locked in for the Worlds or the playoffs and probably the number 1 seed because just how good they were. So you have Randy Arozarena silently being a guy in the end of the regular season when he gets called up last couple games, and then you get to the postseason, and he does well against the Blue Jays. He has a home run or 2 in the wild card series. You know, people are like, oh, this guy's pretty good. Then you see him in the Yankee series, and he goes off for like 4 home runs in 5 games, and everyone's like, whoa, like this guy's legit. I mean, he's about to break a record. You get to the Astros series, he does it again. He has like 3 home runs in the 7 games.
He makes Lance McCullers his bitch.
Yeah.
Takes twice, backside deep twice. Are you kidding me, dude?
Yeah.
That's when you know you're seeing the ball well. If you play baseball and you start hitting backside home runs, keep swinging the bat because you're being like this coming in.
Yeah, he was seeing the ball extremely well, and does the same thing against the Astros, same thing against the Dodgers. The thing that really impressed me about him was his ability to put his past at bats like aside, because like as a baseball player, obviously it gets challenging sometimes. And you go and you have an 0 for 3 hat trick. You're like, oh dude, like what the hell is this bullshit? I'm not hitting well. I'm not seeing good. It's easy to get in your own head, right? He goes out there, he gets struck out, made look dumb by Dustin May. Goes out the next at bat and goes yard.
Yeah.
Like that kind of stuff, like that bounce back mentality is so hard and so rare to see in someone his age. Like he's not a super young rookie, but he's a rookie nonetheless. And to see that kind of like resilience in someone is very impressive.
And that just shows you how good he's going to be in the future.
Yeah.
Because he was able to handle that much pressure. And I mean, he's not young, but he's young in baseball terms.
He's 24, I think, which is like,
as far as experience goes, he's young.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, this wasn't even his first real season. He has so little experience so far. He had last season where he came up for a couple games with the Cardinals. Okay, he came up for the 8 or 7 games or something stupid for the Rays in the end, and then he had the postseason. So the postseason doesn't even count towards time. I'm pretty sure he goes into the next season labeled as a rookie. So I mean, you're still talking about a rookie. I think he has to be Rookie of the Year candidate already. Like he has to be a favorite. I don't think you can argue anyone else unless maybe Wander Franco. But I mean, even then, you haven't seen this kind of success from him in the big leagues.
He had kind of a series more like a postseason, almost like a Juan Soto. But the difference between him and Soto is everybody knows Juan Soto because he plays in Washington.
Juan Soto wasn't a rookie either.
And Arozarena is doing this as a guy who just got called up. And he said, you know what? This is my shot. Kevin Cash didn't know if he was going to make it out of spring training.
He didn't make it out of spring training. He didn't.
No.
Although, to be fair, they did come out and say when they made that trade for him that he was the piece that they really wanted instead of Carlos Martinez. Or Jose Martinez, sorry.
That was a really, really good trade.
Looking back on it, another success. I mean, Rays, that's what they're good at. I mean, that's why they win. They win because they win trades.
Right.
It's as simple as that. I mean,
trade Chris Archer, who is terrible.
Yeah.
And get Austin Meadows, who had a good regular season, and
he had a good rookie season, and then this year, I mean, he gets COVID in the beginning of the year, comes back. He's kind of trying to get his feet on the ground, get going. He finally gets going a little bit. Postseason happens, slows back down because he's facing the best pitching everybody's got. But anyways, we get to game 2, right? Brandon Lowe, horrible postseason. He has like 1 hit all postseason. He's having like 0-5-1 or something stupid. Like, not a good postseason for him. He comes up, game 1, first at bat, yard. And props to Kevin Cash, manager of the year. Props to Kevin Cash, keeping him in that lineup up there in the beginning. He knows Brandon Lowe's good. Everyone knows Brandon Lowe's good. And we've seen, even in his rookie year, that he's a very streaky hitter. So when he has his great start, let's be honest, he's not going to sustain that hot of a start the whole season. Even in a 60-game season, it's not going to happen. So you get to postseason, his streakiness comes out, right? Not doing good. Comes up, game 2. His biggest at-bat of his career, basically. Game 2 of the World Series, goes yard first at-bat. Gets the Rays up early. The Rays, including the postseason, okay, were 30-3 when they get the first run. 30-3, including the postseason.
Like when the game was happened, I texted you.
Yeah.
And I was like, we got the first run.
Yep. That's game 2. There we go. Game 2's a wrap. So Brandon Lowe gets the run in game 2 home run off Tony Gonsolin, who, to give him his credit, has pitched really well this year. Another rookie on the Dodgers. Pitched well this year. Pitched fairly well in the postseason. It's not even like his batting was bad. It was short because they were using a little bullpen day thing going on. But, he had like an inning and 2/3 or an inning and a third with the only hit was Brandon Lowe's home run. Whatever. Brandon Lowe gets up again in like the 4th or the 5th and 2-run jacks. The Rays are up like 3-1. And at that point, game 2 is basically sealed. And you just bring out the stable after Blake Snell goes like 5 innings, 4 2/3, whatever it was. Yeah. Kevin Cash pulled the string early. Whatever. Get used to it.
To Lowe again because they showed his BP and he was trying to go backside, and he hits 2 backside home runs.
Yep, he goes Oppo Taco twice in the same game, and out of all 14 home runs he had in the regular season, not one of them was opposite field. Then he has 2 in the same game in game 2 of the World Series. That was big. So you get to game 3. You have Charlie Morton on the bump. He didn't get dicked around, but it wasn't like it was a Charlie Morton-esque outing.
It wasn't a Game 7 Charlie Morton outing.
Yeah, it wasn't a 2019 Charlie Morton either. Because I mean, even like he's 36, he's not going to be a spring chicken forever. And although the second half of his career has been much better than the beginning half of his career, I mean, he's still 36 years old and he's not Justin Verlander. So what can you really expect? I mean, everyone knew this contract the Rays got was a team-friendly contract, and I think it served its purpose well. I think that contract was one of the best in franchise history. Because look, you have a frontline Cy Young candidate guy year one. Year two, you go to the World Series as second lowest payroll, or third lowest payroll, sorry, in all of the MLB. That contract was a success, absolutely a success. And I mean, we didn't pick up option for $15 million this year. I don't think we should have. I do not think he's going to pitch worth $15 million next year. And as much as I love Charlie Morton, I want him back on this team very badly. I don't think $15 million is going to be what we need.
Honestly, I don't think very many teams are just going to give the guy $15 million. I don't think. I don't.
Because not in this year.
A lot of the big market teams are pretty much set.
I wouldn't say that. I would not say most of the big market teams are set, but I would say most of the big market teams are out of money after the COVID season, or they're going to cry broke. I mean, aside from the Yankees and now the Mets with Steve Cohen and maybe the Dodgers, I'm thinking most teams are going to be like, oh, we don't really have the money this year because, COVID things got a little tight. Bullshit. I mean, everyone knows it's bullshit. But Charlie Morton, he's either looking at, I think his options are retirement, Rays, or non-contender. If I'm being honest, I don't think any team is going to look at him as like, you know what, this is the one piece we need to get back to the World Series or to get to the World Series. Like you're not the Chicago White Sox doing that Charlie Morton being like, you know what, this is the guy we need. Because sure, Charlie Morton's going to be, he's a borderline frontline starter at this point in his career. But if you're the White Sox and you have that young core with Jose Abreu kind of leading that charge, like you have Lucas Giolito. They have Keuchel, I think, for one more year. Like Charlie Morton at $15 million is not something anyone really needs. And like when you're looking at that, like I think the move the Rays did and Neander coming out publicly and saying we still want Charlie back, we just don't have that type of money, is good because Charlie knows he's not hiding. They want him back and they're going to pursue him. And I think even if they didn't go out publicly and say that, I think obviously they're having talks behind the scenes and whatever, but I don't know. I agree with the move that we did.
And obviously we don't know Charlie Morton, but it seems like he's one of those guys who appreciates the grind and he appreciates being on a team like the Rays who have to work for what they get. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They don't go out and just buy everybody.
100%.
I mean, I'm not discrediting teams who do that. I mean, if you do that, more power to you. Like, that's awesome, but that's just not who the Rays are.
I mean, if you look at the Rays, like, you can't call anyone a homegrown because they get them as they don't draft them. They kind of trade for them as prospects, but then they're homegrown in the sense that all these guys or most of them are coming out of their system. Like, this core of the Rays is coming out of their own system. And we'll talk about their system a little bit in more depth, like, later because, I mean, obviously, best farm system in baseball. Can't deny that. But, like, this team is, like, I mean, I consider it homegrown. I mean, you go out and trade for these guys, you don't draft them, but you are the one, you're the reason why they're there. And a lot of these guys aren't getting shots. Like, a lot of these guys are not playing for the Yankees. They're not playing for the Cardinals or all these teams that we're getting them from. Maybe the Pirates where we got Glasnow and Meadows and stuff. But, I mean, you know what I'm saying? These guys are all, like, getting their shot with the Rays and they're making the most of it.
I think that the Rays are almost a better version of what the Athletics want to be.
Yeah.
I think the Rays go out and get these guys, but unlike the Athletics, they perform to a level they never expected them to.
Well, I see this thing around on Twitter, and it's obviously a joke to a sense, where people are saying, like, well, if you're a team and the Rays approach you about one of your prospects, you might want to double check and think, oh, what are these guys seeing that we don't? It's like, people are saying this as a joke, but, like, are they really kidding? Like, I mean, if I'm the Pirates and I see the Rays are approaching me about 3 of my prospects and I'm, like, not sure if I'm going to bring them up or not, and they're offering me a frontline ace and Chris Archer, I mean, as a Pirates, I'm probably taking it because they didn't have that reputation back then. But now, like, I'm thinking, dude, if I get offered Blake Snell for 3 prospects that are borderline MLB players, I'm thinking twice about that because even though it's Blake Snell, Cy Young winner, what are these guys seeing that's worth giving up Blake Snell? You know, because they're not just gonna give up their ace for nothing. Like they're not just gonna give up Chris Archer, who's been the franchise player for that team since Evan Longoria left. Like they're not just gonna, boom, here he is. Like they're really gonna want your guys for a reason. That's why they gave you that guy like that. And obviously, the Rays saw something they didn't want in Chris Archer that they certainly didn't tell the Pirates, that the Pirates didn't see because that just didn't work out well. But I mean,
some people call it a lucky trade, but when they've done it so many
it's
times,
over and over and over. Like
it's not luck anymore. They see something that nobody else sees, and I think that's why the Rays, honestly, I'm not trying to be biased, but that's why the Rays are one of the most fun teams to be a fan of, because it's like we have geniuses working for us.
Yeah, or some the front office. I mean, and the crazy part is when these execs leave the Rays, they're going on and winning World Series, i.e. Andrew Friedman. Chaim Bloom went to the Red Sox, and he's doing a complete rebuild. People give him crap because he got rid of Mookie Betts and David Price, but I also think people realize like he had to do it for a reason, and he's gonna be good for the Red Sox because he was so good with the Rays. And now you have Eric Neander like taking control of everything. Like, dude, like not only are we banging out MLB players, we're banging out front office execs. Like, we're just handing them out to people. Like, I used to laugh. I was younger, in like the early 2010s, like 2011, 12, 13, 14. Like, we'd grow these players, and they'd be good, and we'd trade them. Like Will Myers. I'd be like, why are we trading him? Why did we get rid of him? We're just like the farm system for the MLB. We're just making these guys and trading them out.
It's the ongoing.
But they've had a plan.
Right.
And I remember going back to so many trades, like without thinking before they had this reputation and being like, what? Like that doesn't even make sense. Why would we? That's a bad trade. Yeah, and then it ends up working out, and I'm just like having to eat my words. And I'm just it feels like every move they make, they win.
Like when we get rid of Price, you're like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
But then David Price, up until now, granted, when he won with the Red Sox, that was amazing. Yeah. But up until then, that was not the same David Price. When he was on the Tigers, that guy was almost out of the league.
Yeah. Yeah, he was.
And then he did what he did with the Red Sox. Great job for him.
Props. Anyways, we got to talk about Game 4, right? Game 4. I mean, when you're down 2-1, you're looking at Game 4, and I mean, every game in the World Series is a must-win, but Game 4 is a must-win. You cannot go down 3-1 to this Dodgers team and expect some magic to happen like what happened in the NLCS. It's not going to happen. Let's be real with ourselves. You get to Game 4, and you know you have to win this game. And the Rays know that. Everyone knows that. Everyone in America knows that. So when you get a guy that hasn't seen live pitching in a month, right, and he's up there with the game on the line, 2 outs. He gets up there fresh off the bench. He's not warm. You
just put him in a pinch run for G-Man. Yep. That's all you thought he was going to do. And but then, oh shit, he's up now.
So you're Kevin Cash looking at the decision. Do I want Brett Phillips taking this at bat? Or do I want Michael Perez taking this at bat and not – because he was the only one left in that game on our bench. Like, our only hitter left on our bench was Michael Perez. So you're Kevin Cash. Do I want Michael Perez or do I want Brett Phillips in this at bat? And I think most managers are putting in Michael Perez just for the fact that he's been playing more often, and he's been a clutch hitter for us. Like it kind of like weird to say, but he's been one of our better clutch hitters, like better hitter with running in scoring position. And I don't think many managers are making the move of keeping Brett Phillips in there like Kevin Cash did. So props to Kevin Cash because Brett Phillips goes down 1-2 on what should be 3-0.
Yeah.
And he gets squeezed. Like, bottom line, he gets squeezed on 2 pitches in a row. And he has the mental toughness to just hang in there, and boom, he delivers a line drive. Kiermaier scores. And I'm thinking, great. We have this tying run on first. Tying run scores. Go ahead, run a third. Right? I'm thinking, great. all of a sudden, no, the camera pans. Randy Arozarena is falling in the middle of fucking nowhere, third base line. And I'm just like, God damn it. I'm pissed. I'm sitting there. I scream. I mean, I'm happy that we tied it up, but you can't go to extra innings against his daughter's team with one extra bat in the lineup, like, or on the bench. Like, I'm like, dude. And then, I mean, Will Smith. I mean, he just tried to make the tag too early. Arozarena squeezed in there.
Who? And Kenley Jansen, what the fuck are you doing? I mean, when you get into high school baseball, you do PvPs every week.
Yeah. I mean, well, let's hold on. Do you really think that Jansen backing up home changes that play? Because hear me out. When you're taught, when the throw's coming from right field, you're on the third base side of the bag. When Will Smith misses that ball, it hits off the umpire, goes on the first base line. I don't think Kenley Jansen being back behind the plate does anything in that situation, but still, the principle of it, you got to be there. He was scapegoated because of it.
I think Jansen behind the plate, if he's like, yo, Will, you have time. You got time. Will Smith doesn't try to swipe the tag. And I think, I mean, obviously this is all hypothetical, but if he's that good of a communicator with his catcher, that changes the whole game. Because if Will Smith doesn't try to swipe the tag when Arozarena is 25 feet up the line, I mean,
that's a great point. That's a great point because he was trying to get that tag down so quick because he doesn't know Arozarena is on the fucking ground. Like, he's thinking he's sliding in right now. So he just tries to make that tag too quick. Like you said, if Kenley Jansen's there, that's a good point. I didn't even think about that, to be honest with you. So we win game 4, and that game is an all-time classic. I don't care what anyone says. That game is a classic, dude. That score in the end after such a, like, well, it was like 5 like half innings with scores in a row, and then you like 2 with running scores, and then that, like, dude, fireworks. That was the best game of the postseason by far. That was a great game, and that's the type of game that, like, you can go back and watch. Like, after you have a bad day, you can go back and watch that game, and you're just in a good mood for the rest of the night. Like, you can just, like, you're just like, you know what? Like, I mean, to be fair, it would be a lot better if the Rays came back and won the World Series. Then that game would be a lot more fun to go back on, but I don't know. I don't feel like it has the same level of happiness now that it's tied to a losing World Series. But at the same time, still a great moment that, like, makes you smile. Like, I get chills watching it back, like, even today. Like, I could go watch it right now and I'd be, like, broken out in goosebumps.
Yeah.
Like, I texted you as it happened, and dude, like, you could tell, like, me and my roommates were just hammered, bro. Like, we were done, and we were just losing our mind. We got a noise complaint on us, believe it or not. We had our RA come down and noise complaint, but
yeah, and, like, the greatest thing about that is when you watch baseball and you're a baseball player and you know, like, how fun it is to be in that moment. The guy cracking up during his interview is just awesome, dude.
Well, dude, he had to go to an IV.
Yeah. Dude, that guy's heart rate was probably pushing like 300. Like,
dude,
it out of his chest.
I mean, that was an awesome moment, and the fact that it was Brett Phillips, like, his reaction was just so wholehearted. Like, it's better than, like, the standard. Like, I love Brandon Lau. I think he's a great player, one of my favorite Rays players. But you get Brandon Lau in that situation, he's gonna go up there, cross arm, kind of talking quietly, like, trying to downplay it a little bit. Dude, Brandon Phillips was just like, yeah, dude, baseball's awesome. Like, give me more of that every single day. I'm taking it. Guys, can I get an IV, please? Like, he just, you can tell he really embraced the situation, and he really was taking it in. And, like, I don't know, he says it went by in a flash, but, like, when you're having that kind of reaction, I couldn't imagine, like, being that happy and not remembering. Like obviously he's gonna remember it, but, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, some people would take that moment for granted, and I think Brett Phillips is the type of guy that really is gonna cherish that for the rest of his life, and he's gonna be known as a hero. No matter, he could go out next season and hit 08 something and fall in the league the year after, and he'd still be remembered as a Rays hero. He's a Kelly Shoppach. If he's bad, he's a Kelly Shoppach. If he's good, he's Brett Phillips. Boom, to start his career. You know what I'm saying?
Look at Aaron Boone. The dude's got a job with the Yankees because he had a walk-off.
Yeah, he is Aaron Boone to a T. Yeah, that's a good point. So in 20 years, when Brett Phillips is the new manager of the Rays, and the Rays have 4 titles, we're going to be looking back in Game 4 and saying, hey, that's starting it off. That's why it's here. But
And like when you're in that, I don't know. Like I thought after that game, there's no way the Rays lose. There's just no way, because when you have a night like that, you're just rolling into the next game. But who's waiting for you the next game? Clayton Kershaw, and that's when you're like, well, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be kind of hard.
see, as much as I think momentum really plays into a game, I think the Rays let the celebrations almost tire them out too much for the next day. And not that they shouldn't have celebrated, because obviously, absolutely should celebrate an accomplishment like that. But I think them just being so young and the combination of that and just being cooped up all season, like because of this COVID stuff, like, I mean, I think they almost got a little lazy, almost to say, like, not that they took the Dodgers any more lightly, but I think that they were playing to the momentum thing too much. Like, they're like, oh, well, these guys are depleted. Like, we just did this to them in game four, a crucial game. They're not going to be here with the same headspace. And the Dodgers are like, no, fuck you. No, like, we're here to play still. Like, that did not change shit. We're still the Dodgers. We still mash 1 through 9. We still have Austin Barnes going to come out and hit a fucking bomb tonight. Who the fuck is Austin Barnes?
Yeah.
Like, I thought Will Smith was the catcher. I mean, I know Austin Barnes there, obviously, but, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, no, like, we still mash. Like, we're still here. You still have to beat the best team in the MLB, and they are. They are. Like, you cannot claim that the Rays are better than the Dodgers. I don't care who you are. They're not. Like, I know some people that are still trying to say, yeah, well, even though the Dodgers had the best record in baseball and even though they won the World Series, like, I still think the Rays are better. No, dude, they're not. And as much as I hate to say it, because I wish they were, they're not better than the Dodgers, and the Dodgers showed that in Game 5. Even though you're going to take that away from us, we're going to take this away from you, and we're going to be up 3-2 going into Game 6, is what they said.
I mean, not to make excuses, but do the Rays have the luxury to go out and sign Mookie Betts? No. Do the Rays have the luxury to even re-sign Clayton Kershaw? Hell no.
No.
If Clayton Kershaw came up with the Rays, that dude would stay there until his arbitration year, and then you'd say, see ya.
Yeah. Like, I mean, well, dude, like, I don't know. Like, let's just say the Rays right now, because there's like some Dodger free agents after this year. You have Kike Hernandez, Justin Turner. Like, you put one of these Dodgers guys on their contract on the Rays, and that's more than every other Rays player except for maybe Brandon Lau. Like, Brandon Lau is making $6 million a year. He's the highest paid player on the Rays, aside from Charlie Morton, who's no longer on the Rays. Like, right now, as of right now, like, that Dodgers player is gonna double the salary.
Yeah.
I mean, you're looking at Justin Turner, who's 36, maybe not as much as someone like any of the people that are still with the Dodgers. Like, any of these Dodgers players that are still in the Dodgers that aren't like free agents this year, because you're looking at Kike Hernandez, Justin Turner are both free agents, and I think those are like the two notable names, except for like Blake Trinan. Like,
I think they re-signed Turner though.
I think they signed Turner to a 2-year deal. We're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into that. So, yeah, they lose Game 5. The Rays lose Game 5. The Dodgers come back.
Kind of a not very exciting Game 5. I mean, Clayton Kershaw handled business.
Kershaw shoved. I think Kershaw got that stigma like just gone now. I don't think he deserves any of the postseason credit. I mean, obviously, did not have a good start to his postseason career, but I can't say he's a bad postseason pitcher anymore because this postseason he was lights out.
Dude, like the guy just does what he always does. Clayton Kershaw goes out and shoves, and then Glasnow just 4 runs. That's what he gives up. I mean, if you're gonna win the game, you got to get more than 4 runs.
I saw a video after Game 5, or maybe it was before Game 5, but it was showing Clayton Kershaw's pitch usage, and like everyone knows Clayton Kershaw for the dominant hook curveball, but every pitcher loses like their good pitches when they get older. Like, Kershaw's not throwing 95, 96 anymore. Dude, he's throwing up 92, 93, maybe 94. He doesn't have his fastball as much as he does. He's not getting as much snap on that curveball. So he's reverted to that slider. And they were showing like overlays of his pitches where he has his fastball still 92. But then when he's going to his off speed, he's not really dropping that hammer curve anymore. He's tossing you more of a slide piece that's going to break in on righties and get down to those ankles where they think it's fastball, and the lefties breaking away. Hard to tell because of a little arm action, but he's adapted, and I think this postseason and this season really was like the first year in the last couple years where we've seen like a dominant Kershaw again, because I think it took this longer offseason for him to really like reset and be like, you know what, like I need to reinvent myself as a pitcher because this Clayton Kershaw is dominant, but I'm starting to lose a little bit off the edge a little bit. So him
that just goes along with his greatness. I mean, that's what all great pitchers do. You adjust.
Verlander did it. Kershaw did it. The machine did it. You know what I'm saying? Every Hall of Fame pitcher has had to do it at some point. And the pitcher that stands out to me that should be Hall of Famer and is kind of talking himself out of it a little bit right now, Zach Greinke, because he's not reinventing himself. He's trying to stay in the same pitcher, and he just doesn't have
Greinke throw his 96, which is now 92, in the same spot.
That bitch is 89 now, dude.
Yeah.
You know,
and when you even like 96 to 94 is the biggest difference you could ever imagine.
Especially in today's ball game. Like you have guys coming out of the pen throwing 100, but then that's after you have guys like Jacob deGrom hitting you with 100 for 102 pitches.
Mm-hmm.
So you got guys shoving from inning one. It's not like your starters are trying to save some of that energy so they can go all 9 because they're getting pulled in the 5th. Like they're getting pulled in the 5th. They're not going 9. They're getting pulled in the 5th, so they're leaving it all out there. You know what I'm saying?
That's all it is. It's just baseball. I mean, the game is just adapted.
Mm-hmm. The game has changed, and the people that aren't going to change with it are not going to be here much longer. And not to say that Greinke's not going to be here much longer, but do you really see more than 3 years left on him? I don't. No, I don't. I see 2, 3 years maybe. After this contract, does he resign? He's got. I think he has 1 or 2 more years at the Astros. I don't see him resigning after that. And maybe he signs like a Bartolo Colon type deal where it's like, yeah, we'll bring you on because you're a weird person and it's gonna get some fan attention. But like, dude, he's not gonna be a piece. Like he's not gonna be a guy anymore after that. Like, I don't know. But then we get to Game 6. We get to Game 6 and
Randy does what he does.
Yeah. I remember texting you after in the beginning of Game 6, okay? Randy gets the home run, and I'm like, dude, that's the first run. Like, we're here. We're winning this game. We're going Game 7. Like, I'm pumped. But that doesn't happen. And it's not like we can say, oh, well, Blake Snell just didn't have a good game. He was shoving. He was putting his fist up Mookie Betts' butthole and going like this for 5 innings.
We said the key to Game 6 is does Snell have his best stuff?
Yes.
And did he have his best stuff?
He had the best stuff of his season. Because you got to think, if you're going into Game 6, you're coming off a day break. So they had the break between 5 and 6. We're thinking, all right, we need Blake Snell to come out and hopefully throw 7. So we can outmaneuver the Dodgers bullpen, because even though ours is better, theirs is still good too. Dave Roberts is not a better manager than Kevin Cash. I don't care what anyone says. I know the Kevin Cash move was horrible, but Kevin Cash is a great manager who is going to unfortunately be known for the rest of his career for this horrible, horrible, horrible decision. And
here's the thing. The numbers is what got the Rays there. And the numbers is what caused the Rays' downfall.
Yep.
But if you're a baseball guy, and Kevin Cash played baseball, he's a baseball guy, the one saying you hear from pretty much high school on is you stick with your guy. When your guy, you live and die by your guy.
You gotta have some feel.
Same thing with Brandon
Lau. Down to.
You leave Brandon Lau in the lineup, he wins you Game 2 because you live and die by your guy.
And so when Kevin Cash makes this decision, like, everyone's like losing their mind, and deservedly so, because Kevin Cash, he just did not have any feel at all with the situation. He comes out in the post game and he says, I didn't want Snell seeing Mookie, Seager, and Turner for their third time.
You're telling me you didn't want Blake Snell to see the guys that he struck out 6 times in their 6 at-bats? That you don't want him to see that.
Their 1 through 3 hitters were 0-6 with 6 strikeouts on the night against Blake Snell, and
Dude,
we pull him.
He had 2 balls leave the infield, and one of them was a hit.
Yeah. Why? Like, so he goes. This is the 6th inning with no outs. So Blake Snell with 5. And he's at 73 pitches. He gives up a hit to Austin Barnes. It's Austin Barnes, dude. This guy's not gonna steal a base. I mean, I know he tries to, but he's a catcher. He's not gonna swipe a bag.
Was there not one out? I think Blake Snell got the first out.
Did he? I thought it was no outs because the double play wouldn't have gotten out of the inning, but I could be wrong.
I think he went 5 in the 3rd.
Actually, you know what? You might be right. So you're looking at 1 ground ball and you're out of the inning anyways. Blake Snell's at 75 pitches, dude, going through the 6th. Like, oh, so he makes the move and I'm losing. I'm pissed. Like, I'm going off on Twitter. And at first I'm like, I'm trying to be reasonable. I'm like, come on, like, Blake Snell knows, or I mean, not Blake Snell. Kevin Cash knows what he's doing. He's done it all year. We knew this was going to happen. He did it in the Astros game. Nick Anderson.
One out in the 6th. Austin Barnes hits a bloop single.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's Austin Barnes. He's not going to swipe any bags. But then Kevin Cash brings in Nick Anderson. And that's where this decision gets compounded even worse. Because Nick Anderson shoved during the regular season. So, I understand still trusting your guy because, I mean, it worked out for him. But if you're not going to trust Blake Snell, then why are you trusting Nick Anderson after giving up runs in 7 straight appearances in the postseason? Yeah. Sure, he shoved in the regular season, but that's literally all that did in that situation was just hindered the analytics and pointed to Kevin Cash and said, this is your guy, when it wasn't his guy. Like, that was not the guy to go to. And I know the stat, every game that Anderson, Castillo, and Fairbanks have pitched in, the Rays have won. Okay. But then why are you bringing in the guy who's already had trouble keeping up runs in the situation where you're trying to prevent runs? Like, obviously, every time you're trying to prevent runs, but, like, you already have the guy in base.
Keep in mind, the Rays have not played the Dodgers at all this year.
No. They had a 2-game series, I think, against them. Or was that 2019? Maybe that was 2019.
They played only in the American League this year.
You're right.
The Rays did not play the Dodgers.
2019, they played them once.
How do you know these numbers work? Because you have not faced a lineup like the Dodgers. No. I can promise you that.
No, I mean, realistically, I don't think there's any lineup in the American League that is close to the Dodgers. Like, close to the Dodgers. I think the closest team in baseball that has a lineup is the Braves, and they just beat the Braves.
Yeah, and
they just came back against the Braves. Like,
the Yankees, you're just like, all right, let's get through 1 through 4.
Yeah,
let's get through 1 through 4. We're rolling.
Yeah, the Dodgers is like, all right, let's get through 1 through 9. Shit, wait, 9. We don't have any breaks.
Yeah. Oh, and they go right, left, right, left, right, left.
Every single night. Like, nice. That's gonna work. I mean, to be fair, they still made the Magic work pretty well. Mookie Betts cannot hit a lefty. Why are we taking a lefty out and putting a righty in?
Yeah.
Why? I mean, do your analytics tell you that? And Kevin Cash is gonna be manager of the year, and he deserves it. He was a great manager, and he's deserved it for the last 4 years. If there was a manager of the postseason, it's not either of the managers that were in the World Series. It's not Roberts, and it's not Cash.
It honestly might be A.J. Hinch. The way he managed the Astros team.
A.J. Hinch is fired.
Sorry.
Dusty Baker.
Dude,
or maybe Brian Snicker.
Yeah.
I don't know. He kind of used that bullpen kind of weird in the last couple games.
The way that Dusty Baker managed that Astros team was very, very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, Dusty Baker, he came in a situation that he wasn't a part of, and he was taking responsibility for it. He's 73 years old. He's not a young spring chicken anymore either.
Credit to him for being able to adapt with the game.
Yeah.
Because that's why I mean, Tony La Russa for the White Sox.
Yeah.
Is the guy is he gonna look at numbers, or is he gonna say, well, we'll put our starting pitcher in?
Yeah. When I was gonna wait to get into this a little bit later, but that's a good point. When the White Sox signed Tony La Russa, is he the guy for that team? Like, don't get me wrong, he managed Ricky Henderson, who has the most swagger in the game ever. So it's not like he's going to be opposed to Tim Anderson and Jose Abreu tossing out their chains and bat flipping every fucking at bat. But
with the bat flip.
But he's 78, 79. Like, he's not young. 76 actually, I think. But he's not young. And
And that's why Kevin Cash is such a good fit for the Rays, because they really don't have like true veteran guys. They just don't.
Kevin
They
Cash
always
is
have young
he's
guys.
like 46.
Yeah, it's just
He
a
like could have
perfect fit.
retired from the game 6 years ago.
Yeah,
He's 3 years older than Tom Brady, who's
That's why
playing in the NFL at 43 years old.
I thought the Cubs did a good job with hiring David Ross. I thought that was a really good signing.
Yeah.
The only problem with that is when you start running into, okay, David Ross has actually played with some of these guys.
He's friends with these guys, yeah.
Yeah, is there a little bit of bias in that? Who knows?
Well,
But
I think this season showed that it didn't. And it came out, like, even when he was a player, he was holding these guys accountable. Like,
Right.
he was a leader. Like, he was Madden's almost like deputy.
Yeah.
And I think that Ross move turned out perfectly for the Cubs team, because I'll be honest, like, I did not have the Cubs making the postseason this year, and I did not have them winning the Central. I did not have them at the 2 seed or something. And
I mean,
NL.
they lose in a series to the Marlins, who are just like one of the
an
hottest
anomaly. They're an anomaly. Like, who the fuck are these players? Like, their leader, Miguel Rojas, dude, he had like he's been in the MLB for like 6 years. Has he had a year where he's like been good, except for this year? Like, I didn't know who Miguel Rojas was before this year.
You're telling me they have a guy named Sixto who they stroll out there?
He's a stud, by the way. He's an animal. He's an animal. But I don't know. That was I did actually have the Marlins beating the Cubs in round 1, and I know it was low-key kind of like a trendy pick on Twitter for people to, like, if there's gonna be an upset, I think it's gonna be the Marlins over the Cubs. I saw that kind of going around, but I did have the Marlins winning, and I don't think it was a fluke. Like, I think I'd do this. I think I'd take the same pick next time. Like, they won it. They swept them. I mean, granted, it's only 2 games, but they handled business, and they didn't do it against the Braves. However, the Braves are a lot different team than the Cubs. And, I mean, you still got some guys on the Cubs, but you don't have guys on the Cubs that are in their prime like they are on the Braves right now. And they don't have guys, even with Kyle Hendricks and Yu Darvish. Like, I know Yu Darvish is going to be an NL Cy Young candidate. They don't have a rotation like the Braves do.
Yeah.
Because you're looking at Yu Darvish fronting it, Kyle Hendricks right behind him. But I'm taking Soroka, Fried, and Anderson over those. And I know they didn't have Soroka this year, but I'm still taking Fried and Anderson over those 2 other names. Like, my personal opinion, but
they roll out Darvish, and I mean, is Darvish going to have the same season next year as he did this year?
I don't think so. And Darvish is a guy too that historically gets nervous. Like, he's come out and said he's a Zach Greinke. He's very anxious. And he's talked about it before, where, like, he doesn't like when the fans are upset with him. Like, he gets nervous, that kind of stuff. Like, he's not a guy you want rolling out there Game 7 of the World Series. You know, like, that's not the type of guy you want in high pressure situations. He's a guy that's going to do his work, like, in the regular season, get the job done when maybe it's a Saturday night game at 8:00 in the middle of Chicago in the middle of summer. Like, he's not a guy you want out there in October in 45-degree weather with your series or your season on the line. Like, he's not that kind of guy.
I think what the Cubs were missing is a guy like Charlie Morton. You want a guy who is going to go out there and you're like, this dude's got it. Like, he's going to lay it all out there. And I think with Yu Darvish, you just don't have that. You really just don't.
I haven't seen enough of Kyle Hendricks to say that's him either. Who do the White Sox, or not the White Sox, the Cubs have after those 2? I don't even know. Like,
I have no idea.
I feel like I'm forgetting a name. I feel like I'm forgetting someone. Is John Lester still there? John Lester's there, right?
He had Lester. I don't think he's there anymore. Because
I think he is still there. I think he was there this season.
Talking about Lester coming back to the Red Sox.
That's for this season, though. I'm pretty sure he was there last year.
Oh yeah. I think he was there last year. But, like, that's not John Lester. That's not
John Lester in his prime. That is. I mean, he can still probably shove a little bit in the postseason, but he didn't get that opportunity this postseason. I mean, you didn't get to him, and I didn't think they deserved to either, honestly. Like, they won the NL Central, tough division, I get it. They played well this season, but what has Chris Bryant done in the last 3 years? What has he done since he won MVP? Like, Anthony Rizzo, like, what has he done? He's gotten his walks up in the last couple of years.
Javi didn't have that great.
Javi's had a bad year, dude. He had a negative WAR season this year. Kyle Schwarber, like, he was a guy coming up. Like, what has he done the last couple years? He's struck out 200 plus times.
Yeah, it sucks. It sucks to see that those guys didn't. I mean, who knows? You take the season for whatever you want, but it sucks to see those guys not perform to the level that they can perform.
Agreed. So
we go back to Game 6. Nick Anderson comes in, and his first pitch is a ball.
Yeah.
And as soon as he throws that first pitch ball, you're like, well,
Jesus, please help us.
And it's a bad move when baseball Twitter
is clowning him during the commercial break,
before he made it to the mound.
Yeah.
As soon as Kevin Cash stuck his big toe out of the dugout,
game was over. The game was over. You could have just packed bags right then, because the breath of the entire team, the entire nation, just went sucked right out, dude. Gone.
Yeah. Don't give me Nick Anderson. Give me Castillo. Give me somebody other than Nick
Give
Anderson.
me Blake Snell.
Yeah. I mean, obviously.
Keep him in there. There's no reason to take him out there whatsoever. I don't care what analytics say. I don't care if Nick Anderson, Castillo, and Fairbanks win every game they're in. I don't care. Blake Snell is shoving. He gave up 2 hits, no walks. When Blake Snell's not giving up a walk, why the fuck are you taking him out? Because he is dealing. Blake Snell has command issues at times, yes, 100%, and he's statistically worse in his third time through the lineup, but he is dealing. And legends are made in the postseason when people perform against what they're supposed to do. Madison Bumgarner threw 7 straight games and shoved all 7 times. What person do you know that's shoving 7 games in a row? Nobody.
I mean the most recent one, and this one's not even comparable to Madison Bumgarner for those days.
I mean, who do you say for the this year? Who came in? Julio Urias?
Yeah,
he was he had a good postseason. And he came in at important times for the Dodgers, but he didn't pitch 5 innings 7 days straight.
If you remember watching the Giants series and you see Mad Bum warming up in the dugout, in the bullpen, you're like, well, this was a good win for the Giants.
Yeah, nice. That 2014 team, 2012 team, gross.
Yeah.
But anyways, like you said, sure, you have to take Blake Snell because that's what the front office wants. Let's just say it's the front office decision. Kevin Cash decides to pull him, which I don't think it was. I think the front office gives Kevin Cash lets him do what he wants to do because it's Kevin Cash's team. However, I feel like the analytical department has some type of pull when it comes to that situation.
I think that the analytical department might be breathing down Kevin Cash's neck during games.
I think so too. So when Kevin Cash makes that decision, at least bring in someone who, because Nick Anderson's a guy. I don't want to bash Nick Anderson because he is a guy.
I said it as soon as it happened. I don't blame Nick Anderson.
No, it's not Anderson's fault.
There's no way he's in the bullpen really believing in his heart that he's getting in this game.
Yeah.
There's no way.
You can't tell me you're a relief pitcher and your guy is dealing out there. And you get called up and you're like, oh, he's going to put me in after 1 hit? What? Nick Anderson was not mentally ready for that outing. I'll tell you that right now. You can tell from his first pitch. He was not expecting to be out there. He didn't want to be out there.
Yeah, that's what I was about. Do you even want to be out there? No.
No one on planet Earth wanted Nick Anderson out there except for the Rays front office and Kevin Cash, and that's including Nick Anderson.
Yeah.
He did not want to be out there right now. And it's not to say Nick Anderson doesn't like getting the ball in that situation. It's his guy was dealing. He had no reason to be out there.
If Snell is walking 4 guys and he's given up, bloop singles are a dagger. But when you're not walking people and you give up bloop singles, your mindset instantly switches to double play ball.
If we're talking about a Blake Snell who's 5 innings, 4 hits, 3 walks, 110 pitches, and he gives up that single, take him out. When you're talking about a Blake Snell who's 5 1/3 with 73 pitches, 2 hits, no walks, like what, 9 strikeouts? What are you doing? What, like, why? And Kevin Cash comes out after the game and he's like, obviously, I regret the decision now. He says that. I regret the decision now because it doesn't work, but I still think that was the right way to go. I still think analytics is the right way to go. And I just don't agree.
I don't believe in my heart. I mean, I don't want to believe in my heart that when he walks out to the mound, he is confidently just strutting out there. I don't want to believe that. Because I want to believe in my heart that he's like, uh-oh. Every step, he's like, uh-oh. Please don't do this.
If we go back and watch that, like it all unfold, I feel like I remember seeing Kevin Cash like not happy at the front step. Like when it cuts to him when he's like standing up at the front step and like, oh, are they gonna pull Blake Snell? Like, is he gonna pull a Kevin Cash and all his analytics? Like that's the storyline that they made this World Series. And when they showed Kevin Cash, I don't feel like he had the typical like charisma that he does when he's usually making these moves.
And I feel like it's just me. Like, I love Kevin Cash, so I don't want to believe in my heart that it was his decision.
Yes.
I don't.
Kevin Cash is the Rays' best player.
Yeah.
He's the Rays' best player, and it sucks that he's getting this bad rap because he made such a decision. Like, I wish it was like a borderline decision where it wasn't so blatantly obvious, so we could like maybe have his back and like, oh, he has had such a good history. It's like this move was just so bad. I can't back it up. I don't agree with it at all whatsoever. And it sucks that he's going to be remembered by this instead of by the manager of the year and how well he took this team to have a 40-20 record. Dude, we had a 6.66 record, which is not a good number, but it's historical. Like, and you're talking about a team whose payroll was south of 30 million. Like, that's unheard of. The only other team in history who's ended up with a better winning percentage is the 2020 Dodgers.
Yeah.
The only team in history. And he should be remembered for that, but he's not going to be. And I've seen people out there talking about Kevin Cash should be fired, blah, blah, Kevin Cash this, Kevin Cash that. Why is he a manager? Because he's a damn good manager.
Yeah, 100%.
But that was just horrible.
If you're a Rays fan and you think Kevin Cash should be fired, you've never watched a Rays game in your life until the postseason.
Yeah. That's the people in Tampa that are like me with the Lightning. Like, I'll be honest, I don't watch hockey that much. I watched the Lightning win this cup and go through like the playoffs this year. But that doesn't mean I know about hockey, and I'm not going to pretend I do.
I'm not going to fire off tweets about hockey if I don't know.
I may fire off, let's go freaking Palat. Let's go fucking Braden Point. Like, because they're going off. I'm not going to be like, oh, Braden Point missed that. Get him off the team.
Yeah.
But, dude, I don't know. But the part that I really struggle with is not the fact that we lost the World Series or the fact that not even that Kevin Cash is getting this bad rap as a good manager. The part that really bothers me is the fact that, like, is the reaction from the players, and not just the players in the Rays, but the players throughout the league. Like, you're not going to be a Garrett Cole and be like, you know what, Tampa Bay Rays, let me sign there. Because Garrett Cole doesn't want to go out there and get pulled in the 5th inning of Game 6 when your team's about to, like, when you're shoving and your team's season is on the line. Garrett Cole wants to go out there. He wants to give you 8 shut with 12 punchies. Blake Snell wants to go out there and give you 7 shut with 12 punchies. But you know what? Next time that Blake Snell has a decision to make, I guarantee you that's in the back of his mind.
That's what I was, but it makes you nervous about, is Blake Snell going to resign?
And it's not just Blake Snell, though. Because, sure, Blake Snell is a huge part of this team, and we want him back. But who's going to want to come to the team when they're going to get pulled when they're doing good? Like, sure, this team is going to be set for years to come, but it's not going to be by signing guys, and it's not just because of our payroll. Because I'll tell you what, this year, I mean, we may be a small market team, and Kroven may have hurt Sternberg's pocket a little bit. But last year, he had $30 million that he chose not to spend because he didn't want to. And being in the World Series, whether you like it or not, in a COVID year, he did not lose money this year like most managers did. And he has cap space that he could choose to use.
And you know what you're going to end up with? And we just talked about it. You're going to end up with a bunch of guys like you, Darvish, who don't want the ball in big games. Because if I'm a pitcher and I want the ball in a big game, I don't want to be pulled in 5 1/3. Yeah. I don't want to be pulled.
No.
You stay your ass in that dugout and let me pitch.
If I'm Blake Snell, I'm telling him to get his ass right the fuck back in.
I'm going into that race.
There's a video of Blake Snell saying "fucking damn it" as he turns around, hands the ball. Like, he did not want to be out of that ball game, and nobody blames him.
I'm going to walk into that Rays front office and say, "Hey, you want to re-sign me? Don't ever pull that shit again." And I'm walking out.
I'll be honest. If I'm Blake Snell, I'm not re-signing with the Rays.
No.
Because one, I'm probably already looking at taking a pay cut, the homegrown, like, hometown discount, if I want to stay there. And do I want to take a discount and not be used the way I think I should be used? Absolutely not. So, I mean, if I'm Blake Snell, I'll be honest, I'm not coming back. And I hate to say that because I love Blake Snell. And Blake Snell has come up with us, and he's a Cy Young, dude. He's a Cy Young winner, and I think he has the talent and the potential and the mindset to do it again. And I know he hasn't performed to a Cy Young level the last couple seasons, but he can get back there. I truly think that Blake Snell can be a Cy Young winner again, but I don't think it's with the Rays.
But like we've already said, though, like, hypothetically, we lose Snell. As a Rays fan, you definitely have enough faith in the front office to find a guy who will he's not going to replace Snell, but he's not going to, like, hurt you.
Yeah. I mean, the Rays just make every player better.
Right.
And that's just a props to the coaching staff. Like, I think not only does that come back to the front office and finding the right guys for the job, that also falls back on Kevin Cash. And it feels weird. It's such a weird feeling, like, thinking so highly of a manager and of a person, but, like, still, like, being so disappointed in them, but still knowing they're that good. Like, it's just such a weird, like, it's a mind fuck. But, like, Kevin Cash is still that guy, and he's still great for this team, but that's just it's borderline unforgivable.
You take these Rays executives and coaches and scouts and all this, and you give them a payroll like the Dodgers, that team might not ever lose a game.
If the Rays moved it, let's just say the Rays moved to Tampa, like, they actually moved to Tampa instead of this Montreal bullshit, which is complete horseshit. Sternberg is just a cheapskate. I don't like Sternberg. If they move to Tampa and they find a way with Jane Castor, the mayor, to get a stadium, buy Raymond James, buy George Steinbrenner Stadium, you're looking at, like, a mid-level payroll probably. Like, you're not looking at bottom three. I'll tell you that. You're not looking at bottom three. You're looking at probably 14th, 15th in attendance. Like, obviously Tampa is not going to be in New York. Like, you're not going to get that type of stuff. But there's a reason that all these ball players are coming out of the Florida, Tampa area. There's a lot of people here that like baseball, and there's a lot of Rays fans. But what are you giving them to be excited about? Like, you're filling them a team that's going to go to the World Series, but then you're not giving them a nice stadium. You're not giving them franchise players because you're just getting rid of players and getting on to the next guy, which is not a horrible thing because that's what the Rays are about. But
I'd assume most people listening to this, like, live in Florida. So, when you're in St. Pete, you're not with Floridians, you're with snowbirds. You're with people from up north who come down. And so why would they go to a Rays game when they're a Yankees fan? You go to a Yankees versus Rays game?
At Tropicana Field, it's a Yankee home game.
It's a Yankee home game. It is.
But 100%. That's because, like you said, in St. Pete, everyone there is not from Florida. Like, they're not Floridians. No. And St. Pete is so hard to access from people not in St. Pete that, like, all the fans, because, like, you're looking at a spot of Florida that is not a Florida, like, fan base, because the Florida fan base is all around this circle, and you're putting the stadium right smack in the middle of this circle with hard access for the fans to get in, and then you're wondering why there's no fans. Move the stadium to where the fans are, where it doesn't take an hour and a half over 3 bridges and fucking... Right.
Like, and that's exactly what I'm going to get into. If you're a Rays fan, you more than likely don't live in St. Pete. So when you're driving to a game and you sit on a bridge for an hour because there's so much traffic, and all that traffic is not going to the Rays game.
It's horrible.
So when you're sitting on that bridge and you can't get to a game like easily,
I can watch it on TV.
Why would you go?
That's why the Rays is, well, before I say this, the Rays TV, like, fan base, like TV fan base, whatever you want to call it, it's not, it got cut back a lot this year because Fox Sports Sun lost a couple of providers that are like big in the Florida area. But before this season, Fox Sports Sun had like top 10 TV ratings in baseball.
Yeah.
They're like top 5. It's not it's not a lack of Rays fans.
They have like, this is like, we're going in like depth right now. They have extremely good announcers.
Yes.
Extremely good.
Yes, Dwayne Stats and Brian Anderson, amazing. I love them. Amazing.
Like, you want to listen to a game.
Yeah, they make it enjoyable. They really do.
It sucks that you have to listen to it because you don't want to go to the game.
It almost blows my mind that like when people are talking about like some of the best announcers, like obviously like Don Orsillo and stuff's up there. Why isn't Dwayne Stats?
Yeah.
Like, he's a legend.
The dude's got a voice that makes you want to watch baseball.
Yeah. Like, when I think of watching a baseball game and having something, like, it has to be, and that could be biased from us growing up watching Rays games and stuff.
Right.
But, like, it's soothing. He knows what he's talking about. He's not some Joe fuck that comes up and, like, announces the World Series because he's getting paid $1 million fucking dollars to do it, who watches football for his whole fucking career. He doesn't know shit about baseball. Dude, Dwayne Stats goes everywhere at the Rays. This guy's old. He's getting older, so he's not like commentating every single game now. But dude, he loves the Rays. Like, he knows everything about this team, like everything you'd want to know. And Brian Anderson's the same way. He's a great like counterpiece to him. So
you give Dwayne Stats a walk off like
chills. A call and a walk off call.
Yeah, you give him a walk-off like Brett Phillips, you're not going to get the Joe Buck, we will see you tomorrow night. I don't want to hear that shit. I want to hear, and the Rays win. Like, I want to hear, like,
Brett Phillips, hero. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, and what better guy than Dwayne Stats? Like, Todd Callis could have been a candidate 6 years ago, before he went to the Astros.
Yeah, now he just, like, dude, with the Rays, though, all he would do is, like, sit in the stands and, like, interact with fans.
Yeah, yeah. But I don't know. Like, you have the great pieces that, like, the Rays have the good pieces, except for the state. Like, front office amazing, players amazing, announcers amazing, crew amazing, area amazing, stadium shitty, stadium placement shitty, owner shitty.
And you're 19, I'm 18, and we're more like informed on this than the fucking owner of the Rays.
I don't think he watches a single game. I really don't. I think the only games he watched were maybe the ALCS and the World Series. I don't think he watched the Yankees game. No. I don't think he watches baseball at all. I think he just wants it to be money. Oh, $30 million I could spend to make my team better? No, I'll pocket it. Like, he doesn't care about winning. He put these people in place to win. All he wants to do is make more money. And if Montreal is going to make him more money, you better be damned he's going to go to Montreal. Like, he does not give a fuck about the Rays. He cares about his fucking wallet. And it sucks.
Look at the Atlanta Braves. The Atlanta Braves are in the heart of Atlanta. So there's a lot of inner city people who come to the games who can't afford drinks. You know what they do? They lower all their prices. I've been to an Atlanta Falcons football game. A large drink that's like $10 at St. Pete, $2.
I believe it. And it literally just comes back to Sternberg wanting as much money as possible. He does not care about the fans, does not care about winning baseball games. He wants money, and it sucks. And if the day that Sternberg sells the Rays, I am throwing a fucking party. If I ever get rich enough one day, I'm buying the Rays from him. Like, I think aside from the Wilpons, the Mets that just sold, Sternberg is one of the worst owners in baseball, if not the worst now that Steve Cohen is now running the Mets. Cohen is going to turn that team around is what he's going to do.
Cohen is about to make the Mets the biggest contender because he's going to pay guys. And it's not going to be
instant. Sounds crazy to say, but I think Cohen's about to make the Mets the new Yankees.
Yeah.
They're not going to have the 27 titles, but they're gonna have the players, and they're gonna have the let's go out and buy the players reputation now.
Because hey, rest in peace, George Steinbrenner. But baby Steinbrenner is not George Steinbrenner.
He's not the same. He tries to spend the same with Cashman, but it doesn't. It's not the same. It's just not. Brian Cashman's not a good GM. I could take the Yankees payroll and make the Yankees good.
Yeah.
I could take the Yankees, and if you reverse the last 5 years, I can make the Yankees a better team than Cashman's made them right now.
Dude,
right now, I can make the Yankees a better team right now.
You are paying Giancarlo Stanton
300 plus.
You sit on the injury reserve. You're paying him to sit on the IR.
That's what millions, dude. If I'm Cashman, why am I? Well, actually, probably can't get rid of Stanton's contract without biting off at least at least $100 million.
That's the biggest thing with the Yankees. They're paying people to play for other teams because they do contracts like spur of the moment and they suck.
I mean, you give up Giancarlo Stanton as the Yankees when you're in that trade, and you're taking on that payroll, and Marlins didn't just unload that payroll, dude. They got prospects back, and they got some damn good prospects back. Because look, they were in the playoffs this year. They made it through the wild card series against a number 1 seed in the Central, and they made it to the DS where they met a much better team. But this team, we're talking about a team who last year was the laughingstock of the MLB, and now they're in the NLDS. And that comes from some of these players and prospects they got from the Yankees in that trade. And not every one of those players are from the Yankees and stuff like that. But, I mean, Jeter has turned that team around surprisingly well. But I truly think that Steve Cohen with the Mets is going to make them better than the Yankees. And I'm not just talking about better team 1 season or 3 seasons, 4 seasons. I'm talking about a better organization. All the money he's putting into it just for the employees, like low-level employees. Like, he's truly making this team good. He has more money than the top 3 owners behind him combined. Almost the top 4 combined. And that blows my mind. But, yeah, so long-winded version of the Rays lose the World Series in 6.
Get back to Game 6. Nick Anderson, first pitch ball. And when you don't have a feel for the zone, you start forcing pitches, and Mookie Betts is Mookie Betts, so he hits a double.
Well, he doubled, and then you had the pass ball which scored the first run, and at that's when I let out a tweet. I think I said something like, "Fuck you, Kevin Cash, for that horrible decision." It was something along those lines. It wasn't nice. I bet you Kevin Cash saw the tweet. He didn't like me, but like, how could you not? As a Rays fan, how could you not be that upset seeing that happen? And giving up 2 runs on a hit is one thing, but then when you have Zunino, who's had he had a good World Series behind the plate, and I'm not the biggest Zunino fan, don't get me wrong, but he did good behind the plate this World Series, this postseason. Not at the plate in the World Series, but behind the plate, he was blocking balls left and right. Dude, he can't even get to this pitch. And not that he's the best defensive catcher in the MLB, don't get me wrong, because he's definitely not. But he's a major league catcher, and he's had a good postseason. He's blocked some tough pitches, and he can't get to that pitch with runners on second and third to tie the game and the World Series game winner for the other team. You can't do that.
You know how you know the game is over? Is when, was it G-Man at first? When G-Man throws that ball home. Because you know what he's thinking? If that run scores this game's over.
Yeah, this game's done.
And Mookie Betts beats that throw by 10 feet. But
yeah, it was actually kind of close, but
it
was kind of close. It was worth the effort from Choi, I think.
Okay, but if you watch the replay, Mookie Betts is halfway down the line, and I think that if it's any other scenario, G-Man sees that and is like, all right, we'll take that.
If it's any team other than the Dodgers, he's saying, all right, we'll just get you out first.
Yeah.
But when you go down 2-1 to the Dodgers with how well they've been playing this year, and especially this postseason, it feels like every win the Rays got was a valiant effort. Let me pass out on the floor because I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
And then for the Dodgers, yeah, we just won another game. When's the next one? Like let's get this over with. I want to celebrate. I want to hold up the trophy. I want my new Escalade. Like they just want to get through it. The Rays were like, oh, walk off. Oh, freaking Brandon Lau with freaking bombs, best game of his career. Like
it's like, oh, Corey Seager just rolled over. That's cute. Have Justin Turner coming up next.
Mookie Betts got out. Oh, that's all right. Here's World Series MVP Corey Seager. Oh, he gets out. Oh, here's Justin Turner, dude's another MVP candidate for the World Series. He gets out. Oh, you got Jock Peterson, AJ Pollock, fucking everyone and their mom is still here to hit.
Max Muncy, who literally lives for big moments.
Yeah. Max Muncy hit the ball, and there's no ocean, but I'm pretty sure he still told the race pitcher, I forget who it was, get that ball out of the ocean. Like I'm pretty sure he still said that, and it was indoors.
I don't think that might be the first ball I've ever seen go through an indoor stadium. Like that ball was crushed.
That ball made it outside, and it's a caved-in, roofed-in stadium, and that ball was in the parking lot. Crushed. That ball was mashed. So
if it was full capacity, someone's ending up in the hospital if that ball comes out.
And it's not even like once the Dodgers scored that run, like it wasn't even like, oh, I hope they don't score more because we can still win this. It was like we just lost it. Like it wasn't like, oh, like let's keep it within one because we still have a chance. It was like, no, like our chance is done. Like we just lost. And the way I could tell that the Rays were depleted is by Willy Adames.
Yeah.
Because Willy Adames is the hype man, the blood of that team, and he was not happy. You could tell, like he was trying to hype him up, but like it was like half-hearted. It was almost like, yeah, guys, come on, like let's go. But it wasn't Willy Adames.
The bat he has, he might as well have just not brought a bat to the plate.
Yeah,
because he was just so deflated.
Dude, did you see that third strike call? I'll tell you what, if I'm in the World Series and I get a third strike call to end the World Series, my team loses, I'm sitting there and I'm like, fuck. Yeah. He takes that third strike and he just whips around and he's like, all right, game over. Like this game's been over for 5 innings since Kevin Cash stepped out of the dugout. So with that being said, Rays do not win the World Series. They lose to the Dodgers in 6. Congratulations to the Dodgers. You guys genuinely, truly deserve that World Series. As soon as Kevin Cash made that move. And
congrats to the Dodgers for having enough talent to even win with Dave Roberts' terrible coaching decisions.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Yeah. Corey Seager, Mookie Betts, all them, they're saying, all right, Dave Roberts is not our friend in this postseason. So we're just going to have to put our foot down, and when he makes a bad move, we're going to have to cover it. We're going to have to make up for it. It's like being assigned a school project and then being the one to be like, all right, well, I'm just going to take this home and do it because I know none of these fucks are going to help me. That's basically what it was. And, that's how it came down to. It's how it's been in the past. That's why they haven't won in the past. Now you get Mookie Betts and MVP. They finally had enough talent to get past Dave Roberts trusting Kenley Jansen too much. And they got a good matchup. Let's be honest. The Rays were a good matchup for the Dodgers because they don't have any superstars. You can make the claim Randy Arozarena was playing like one, but he's not. He's not even a rookie. He's a rookie. He's not a superstar yet. He's got a lot of proof, and the Dodgers just really exposed the Rays.
Yeah.
That's all it comes down to.
I'm happy for the Dodgers, but it sucks.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's the last time the Rays will be there.
No, I think this core is really good. I really do. And coming into the season, I was so excited to see people like Hunter Renfroe play and Manny Margot. He looked really good in the spring training, stuff like that. And although they didn't really have the best season, I'm still excited to see Hunter Renfroe come back next year. The dude batted $180 this year, coming off a year where his first half he was batting .340 with 28 jacks in the first half, dude. And then he got hurt and tried to play through it. Didn't really work out. He ended up hitting 230 something, but Hunter Renfroe is still a guy. He just has to find it. And it's a lot of guys like that on this team. It's a lot of guys like that on this team. But I don't know. So the Rays have declined options on Morton and Zunino. That means the Rays are not paying Morton $15 million. They're not paying Zunino $4 million. It's whatever. Honestly, I would say Sternberg just saying I want more money, but it's honestly probably better moves. Um,
No hate.
Michael Perez was claimed off waivers by the Pirates.
Yeah.
And Chaz Rowe today cleared waivers and became a free agent. So, what are your initial thoughts on this?
No hate to Zunino at all, but I don't mind the Rays losing Mike Zunino.
Yeah.
The only thing I kind of worry about is there a guy behind the plate who has worked with all these pitchers like Zunino has? Because he knows a lot of these guys. I mean, he's been there for
2 years now? Second year?
Is it?
It's the second year, yeah. He got from the Mariners 2 years ago, like right before the season. I mean, right now you're looking at Kevin Smith. That's who you're looking at. I mean, not that he's bad, but not that he's good either. You know, like.
But I mean,
that opens the door, though. That does open the door because, as much as I'm going to get my hopes up, there is a certain catcher free agent this offseason. Just saying, Eric Neander, JT Realmuto is out there. And I know it's not going to happen, but I'm going to hope it does until it doesn't.
Yeah. I mean, Zunino is not going to be hard to replace offensively by any means.
No, offensively, you're looking at replacing, 200 nicely?
200 on a good year.
Yeah, 200 on it. He's a career 203 hitter. So you're looking at 200 being polite with 10 jacks maybe. And like a 650 OPS probably around there.
He did impress me a lot in the postseason. He came up with some big hits.
Yeah. He had just as many hits in the postseason as he did in the regular season. And over half of his hits in the postseason were home runs, so if that says something about the type of hitter he is. I don't hate any of these moves, I don't think, except for Chaz Rowe.
Yeah.
Because Chaz Rowe is not a guy that like you look at and you're like, oh, you know what, this guy tips over the Rays bullpen. That makes him the best in the league. But he's a guy who has gross stuff. Like, there's no denying this guy's slider is ridiculous, best in the league, if not one of the best in the league. And I mean, you look at Michael Perez, like, yeah, he's the backup catcher. He's done decent this year. Wasn't super impressive, but I mean, it's whatever. I mean, in my opinion, that just opens the door for the Rays to go out and get somebody who they think has better upside than both of them, which is not very high, not anything impressive, but gives them a chance to go out and get someone that they think can be better for this team, and I trust their opinion.
Who knows? They might have somebody in their farm system who's just as good.
Yeah. I mean, when it comes to Morton, I know we kind of touched on this a little bit earlier. We kind of had a little discussion earlier. 15 mil. I don't think he's worth 15 mil this year. I don't think he's going to perform worth 15 mil this year. But I would like them to re-sign him. Like, would I be opposed to like another 2-year, $10 million deal? Absolutely not. I think this guy is great for the clubhouse, a really calming presence, and he's Game 7 Charlie, big game Charlie. So I would love the Rays to see him bring him back. If not, I mean, I hope they go out and get somebody who's going to be, a calming presence in the dugout, veteran leadership. All right, so we're moving on to free agency. So what we're going to do is I'm going to name a free agent, like a notable name. I'm not going to do, most people. There's a lot of free agents this year. We're going to make our predictions of where they're going to land and what kind of contract they're looking at. I'm going to write it down, and we're going to look back on it when they sign. I don't think many of these players are even going to be realistic for the Rays to sign. But I don't want this to be only Rays. I want it to be mostly Rays with, notable things happening. Should we start off with the Rays questions first? Or you want to go straight to free agents, end it with the Rays questions, and then final thoughts?
Yeah, end it with the Rays.
All right. So first name on the list that I have here is George Springer. He has come out and said he does not want to go back to the Astros this next year. Yeah. So where do you have George Springer ending up?
Springer's gone, and I think if I'm George Springer, I'm going to a contender. And I mean, is it crazy to think that he goes to the Mets? Like, do the Mets sign George Springer with this new?
I don't think it's crazy. I think that's a very valid question with Steve Cohen.
I think I mean, I don't know. Is George Springer a New York guy? I have no idea.
I think he grew up in Connecticut, so he could be.
Maybe. I don't know.
What if I throw out? What if I throw out this name to you? The Cleveland Indians.
Ooh, see, I don't know, dude.
Because they don't want to sign people for big money. However, they do need outfielders very badly, and they do have a great pitching staff to contend deep into postseasons with. It just comes down to if you think the Indians will actually dish out some money to get them.
I don't, but I don't hate that pick either. But I don't see them.
Yeah, I was thinking a team possibly the Cubs.
Yeah, I was thinking the Cubs, or maybe. I mean, I don't think the White Sox need them, but I do think that the White Sox.
I think that I see the White Sox went out and getting another frontline starter.
Yeah,
I think they feel good with their lineup, and I feel good about their lineup. I don't know why they wouldn't. I have George Springer going to the Reds.
Ooh,
I have George Springer going to the Reds, and obviously the Reds are losing Trevor Bauer. I don't think they're going to sign Trevor Bauer back because they don't want to deal with his thing. So I feel like that frees up some cap space that they weren't really spending because it wasn't like Trevor Bauer was on a super non-friendly contract or anything. But I see them looking at this opportunity as like, well, we're probably not re-signing Trevor, who we probably thought we were when we traded for him until he got this company, his brand. So I think the Reds go out and they sign Springer, offer him like a 4-year, like $80 million plus contract. Is that weird? Is it weird to think George Springer, even after the scandal, is getting 20+ mil AAV? I don't think so. I think he's mashes still.
Might be an unpopular take. I think he's the best hitter on the Astros. Like George Springer intimidates me more than anybody else in the Astros lineup.
I think that's a very valid take. I don't think everyone agrees with that, but I don't think at the same time that anyone could like call you crazy for it.
I like this one. St. Louis Cardinals for George Springer.
I was thinking about them too, actually.
I think Springer. I don't know. That's my guess. I'm gonna go Cardinals, and he signs a 3-year piece.
Okay.
And it's $65 million.
3 years, 65. Okay. So that moves us on to our next thing. We talked about him a little bit. We got Trevor Bauer. He has come out and said that he wants to sign 1-year deals until he retires. Now, do you believe that he was being serious when he says this? Because the guy is kind of a lunatic. I think he's great for the game. But I don't see him turning down a 5-year offer if he gets offered that.
No, that's exactly what I was going to say. If somebody offers him like a 4-year, is he a $30 million a year player?
Well, see, here's the thing. I could see him turning down a long-term contract if it breaks Cole's AAV. Like, let's say someone offers him 1 year 40. I could see him taking that. And I think that's possible, too. I think you get a young team that doesn't, like a young core that doesn't mind dealing with momentum, like embraces it almost. Like, I'm looking at you, Padres or White Sox.
White Sox, a little 1-year deal to the White Sox? Him and Giolito? That'd be a little scary.
I mean, I know my pick. I already know where I think Trevor Bauer is going to. I think Trevor Bauer is going to the Padres. Ooh. And I think you're looking at like 3 years, 80 mil, 90 mil maybe. I think he's that good. And I don't think he's that good because like this year, because like this year's he only got 12 starts and he's a Cy Young. But yeah. I think he's going to be this good because of his mentality. Like, he's going out there to prove people wrong every start. He's going out there to shove it up Rob Manfred's ass every start, not the opposing team's. He's going up to shove it up Rob Manfred's ass every game. And I think he's bringing that chip on his shoulder for the next 3 years.
That's a huge part, too, is that Clevenger's there.
Yeah. And I don't think Trevor, he says he's considering all teams. I don't think Trevor Bauer's considering a small market team. And I don't think Trevor Bauer's considering a team that is not a contender. I think the Padres fit that bill perfectly.
I truly, in my heart, don't believe that Trevor Bauer will go to the Yankees, but I also think that Trevor Bauer is enough of a lunatic to go to the Yankees.
Yeah, like I can see Trevor Bauer going to the Yankees because they'd offer him a lot of money just to like see if they were actually cheating in 2019. Like I can actually see that happening. Yeah. Like he's like, hey, like I heard this on Saturday night and I thought it was a really good point. He kind of goes in there and he's like, because they know the guy, like they've talked to him multiple times, like they're like friends with the guy, so I trust their opinion when they come to say like he would do it to expose them. Like goes in there and he's like, hey, well, now that I'm here, now that I'm one of your guys, like what was going on last year, and when he has momentum, like he's not gonna be quiet about that kind of thing. I don't think.
Here's the thing. A lot of people say Bauer to the Angels, but I don't see him going to that team just solely off the fact that they're really not going to contend.
I actually I would be excited to see Trevor Bauer on the Angels.
I would love to see Trout, Rendon, and Bauer all on the same team.
Yeah, here's my thing, though. Does Mike Trout shut that down? Like, does Mike Trout say, you know what? Like, I don't want to deal with your bullshit. Like, I don't want to deal with your momentum shit in my face all the time. Like,
in my face right now.
Yeah, like, does Mike Trout go up to Moreno's office and say, like, dude, like, I'm not having this guy shove a camera in my face every single day trying to get a reaction out of me. I'm here to do my job and play baseball and mash. That's what I'm here to do. I don't want to deal with your bullshit.
All right, I'm going to make my pick. And I'm just doing this solely off the fact that I would love to see it happen. I want to see Bauer to the Mets in a 1-year deal. 1 year.
Are you putting 35. It over? Are you putting it over Garrett Cole's at AV, like 32 and a half or whatever?
1 year 35.
As you're saying, 1 year 35. All right,
dude. I would just love to see it happen. I really don't know.
All right. So, do you think there's a real possibility that the Rays make a run at him?
I mean, they can offer him for sure.
Because I don't have a doubt that they would offer Bauer if he was thinking about deals like 2 years, $20 million. But I don't think that's gonna happen. I mean, they signed Morton for 2 years, $30 million.
Yeah.
So I mean, when it comes like what I said earlier, Sternberg said he had extra money this year, and we made it to the World Series. Do you think it's feasible to Rays offer him 3 years, $60 million?
Yeah, he doesn't take that though.
You think he wants a higher AAV than that? I mean, I think he would, but do you think it's even feasible that the Rays offer that kind of contract? Because I don't.
And I don't want to see it happen either. Like, I don't want the Rays to sign Trevor Bauer for 1 year, like $30 million, because after his 1 year, it's like at that point, it's like do or die. Like,
yeah. Yeah. Now we have no money.
Yeah.
We have 1 year as a shot to win the World Series, and then we're out of money.
Yeah. So I say the Mets go 1 year 35, and then he has the option to sign back with them after.
Yeah.
DeGrom and Bauer in the same. Ooh,
dude.
That's scary.
And Thor. Don't forget about Syndergaard.
Healthy Syndergaard.
Yeah. So we move on to JT Realmuto. He is the best catcher in baseball, plain simple. I mean, dude mashes, just puts his head down. He's a great catcher. He's a great hitter. I'd say he's a top 3 hitter in this free agent class. I think he's a better hitter than Marcus Semien. I think he's right behind George Springer and DJ LeMahieu. He's probably behind Marcell Ozuna too, but I mean, bottom line, dude's a great hitter, and the Rays have no catching. Now, call me crazy, but the Rays were also in on Realmuto when he was being traded from the Marlins. They were one of the 2 teams that were in on him. He ended up going to Phillies, obviously, was not on the Rays. I think the Rays are in on him again. That being said, I don't think he signs with the Rays again. I think he's going to go to more of a Grandal-esque type team where the team looks at him to manage their young starters. And
you don't think he resigns with the Phillies?
I don't think he resigns with the Phillies, and I think that plays into the fact that Bryce Harper, as much as he's pushing for JT Realmuto to come back, I think if that Phillies front office says, you know what, Bryce, like, we just committed this long-term thing. Realmuto's 30. And I think we should wait for more younger talent. Like, they're going to want to re-sign to Rhys Hoskins, I'm sure, too.
What do you think Realmuto gets, like a 4-year, $60 million piece?
I think it'd be crazy if he didn't get somewhere close to that. I think if he doesn't break at least 14, 15 million AAV, then he got underpaid.
Yeah.
Genuinely. Like, I think he goes to a team like you said, 4 years 60, maybe 5 years 70. Like, bring that AAV down a little bit in his 5th year when he's 35 season. I have Real Muto going to the Blue Jays.
Ooh, I like that
And
a lot.
People may disagree with that because I have Danny Jensen there. When you're talking about JT Real Muto, it doesn't really matter who the fuck you have there. So I see the Blue Jays going out, and although they don't need a catching piece, they need pitching. I think that front office might be a little sneaky dark horse, and I think JT Realmuto goes to the Blue Jays for 4 years and 55 mil. I think he gets underpaid if he goes to the Blue Jays, but I think I'd be crazy if I didn't at least call the Blue Jays now because I don't really hear them being talked about, and I want it out there if he does go to the Blue Jays. So I'm going Blue Jays, 4 years, 55.
I mean, I think he's gonna resign with the Phillies, 4 years, 60 million. But
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, are the Red Sox out of the question to sign JT Realmuto? I mean, if you're rebuilding, that's a pretty good guy to have in your rebuild.
And now they're reset from that luxury tax. Like, they have the cap space.
Yeah. I don't know.
Who do they have? They have Christian Vasquez buying the plate right now. I think he's a free agent after next year.
That guy,
I don't know, man. I think the Red Sox are a valid option. I don't know if they actually go do it because that doesn't seem like a Heim Bloom move.
Yeah.
But I think it's possible. I don't think it's likely, but I think it's possible. We move on because we're starting to get a little bit long. DJ LeMahieu
resigns with the Yankees.
I think this is the only piece the Yankees sign this offseason. I think Cashman is going to be confident and stubborn. And just like this trade deadline, I don't think he's really going to make any moves except for maybe a lower tier starting pitcher. I know he said Marcus Stroman is not an impact pitcher. I don't see Stroman going to the Yankees. But they are losing Tanaka. They are losing James Paxton. So I actually want to walk back my statement. I don't think this is the only piece they make or they get, but I do think they re-sign DJ LeMahieu. Yeah. And I think he gets a much bigger contract than they got last time, even though he's 2 years older.
What's he on like 11 mil right now?
Less than that. I think he was on 2 years 11 mil. I think they're like 5.5.
Oh my god.
I think he's 32, I think 31, 32. He's not old, but he's not young. He's not old either. Like he's late prime, if not right after his prime. I think they give LeMahieu a 5-year deal worth almost 100 mil.
Ooh,
I think they do it. I think they give him almost 100. I think they give him like 95.
I think I like 5 years. I say 5 years, 75 mil.
Say 5 years, 75.
LeMahieu is very comfortable in New York, and I think he just takes it.
For me, I don't think LeMahieu is like. I don't think it comes down to being comfortable because I think that dude can be comfortable anywhere. Like I don't feel like that dude's situation has any effect on his psyche. He's just a freak, bro. Like he's just an animal, and he did in Colorado, and people were saying, "Oh, it's only because you're in Colorado." Well, guess what? He's not in Colorado anymore, and he's even better probably. So, I liked him on Colorado a lot, and I wish that Colorado re-signed him. But yeah, this dude bashes, and I do not think the Yankees let him get away. I really don't. As much as I want them to, I don't think they do.
Yeah, I don't either.
So, Marcus Semien is next. Coming off an MVP year last year, this year underperformed. He had battled injuries. Pretty sure. I think he got COVID too. I could be wrong, but I think he also got COVID. Had a bad year. Not a great year to be going into your free agency on a down year, but I still think he gets paid. I don't think he gets paid as much as he would have if he went into free agency last year. But I do think he gets paid.
He gets like 15.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think he.
You think he gets it low?
Yeah.
Do you think he goes back to the A's then? No, you don't think he's going back to the A's either? See, I don't know. I think the A's. I do think he's gonna get. I think he's gonna get paid. In terms of like who knew this guy before last year, but I don't think he's gonna get DJ LeMahieu money either. Like I think he's gonna get paid as in like in the 70 mil range. Is that crazy to think? Like
I don't know. I don't know. I don't see him as like and maybe it is because he played for the A's, but I don't see him as like a guy who people go out and get to like impress fans. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I do. I think he resigns with the A's, and I think he goes 3 years, 50 mil.
you know what kind of move this feels like to me?
What?
A Mets move.
Ooh, the Mets get him. I wouldn't
Dude.
hate that at all.
I mean, he's like a better Jed Lowry, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, way better than
yeah.
Lowry.
But that feels like the type of move this kind of is, right? Like Jed Lowry wasn't bad,
No.
but it wasn't like he did great. I think Marcus Semien outperforms him in this next contract, whether like whoever he goes to. I do think the Mets go out and get him just because I feel like Steve Cohen's gonna be trying to flex his money a little bit this year. I
You
have
think they get-
I have Semien going to the Mets for 4 years on 65 mil.
Oh, I like that. That's a good contract. I don't know if it's gonna be the Mets, but that's a good contract.
So what are you thinking? You're thinking A's?
A's 3 years, 50 mil.
3 years, how much?
50.
50 or 15?
50.
So
A
you're
little bit more than-
walking
little
back a little bit more than that 15, huh?
Yeah.
All right. So we move on to Michael Brantley.
Indians.
You think he goes back to Cleveland?
Yeah.
I think he stays with Houston.
Yeah, he probably does. I
think
would
he
just like
stays
to
with
see it.
Houston.
But I do. That was my pick. Is he goes back to Houston?
I think if he doesn't go back to Houston, I think you see him go to the Twins.
He goes back to Houston underpaid too.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, if we're being realistic, this guy deserves probably 70 mil, 5 years, 70 mil. I mean, he's a little bit older, so maybe not 5 years, 70, maybe like 3 years, 35. I don't think he gets that.
Yeah, he goes to the A. Here he goes back to the Astros for like 3 years, 27, like a $9 million a year deal.
You think he's going for 3 years? I don't think he gets 3 years either. I think he gets 2 years. I think he goes back to the Astros and gets 2 years, 12 mil. I think he gets very underpaid. I think he gets disrespected.
But
I really do.
I think he really likes being at the Astros. I think he really likes being in that lineup. That's
He's been protected a lot in that lineup, and now they're losing pieces a little bit. I'm gonna give him 15. I'm gonna give him 2 years, 15. I don't think it's as low as 12, but I do think he gets disrespected.
Yeah, 7.5 is a good number. I mean, I would love to see him get $9 million a year, but
I'd like to see him get 15, if I'm being honest. But
I think a good AAV for him would be like 12.5.
yeah, I think that's pretty fair. So you're going to Astros? He's going back to the Astros?
Astros 3 years, 27 mil.
Okay.
That's just what I hope.
Yeah. We move on to Marcell Ozuna. Now this guy has been mashing since the year before he left the Marlins. He had one down year in St. Louis, signs a 1-year deal on a flyer, kind of like a Josh Donaldson deal to the Braves, and he mashes again. So I think people start taking him seriously. I think he gets a 4-year contract. I think he's looking at 60 plus. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I like that contract a lot.
I'm thinking somewhere for 4 years, 60 mil.
He's definitely. I think he's definitely like right around a 15 to 17.5 AAV guy.
I think a team that could really use him are the Rockies.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think they go out and get him. I do not think they spend that type of money after they just extend Arenado. And might I say, they underpaid Arenado. They got the hometown discount and then pissed him off right after. That's not a good combination. We talk about that in a little bit. I think Ozuna goes somewhere in the NL because he was using a DH role this year, and they're talking about not bringing back a DH, but he's perfectly viable in the field. I don't think he's going to win a Gold Glove, but I don't think he's going to super hinder you in the field. So,
Ozuna to, I don't even know, the Brewers. I don't even think the Brewers have money to spend, to be honest.
that was the team I was going to say.
I was
going to say the Brewers. I was kind of going back and forth in my head with the Reds and the Brewers. But I already said I think the Reds go out and get George Springer, and I don't think they go get both. Like I think it's gonna be either one or the other.
That's
And
why. That's why I picked Simeon to the Mets because I already had them going out and getting Trevor Bauer.
yeah. Well, you have Semien going to the A's.
No, I said that's why.
Okay. Yeah. I don't. Like I said, I don't think the Rockies get him. I think the Reds. I think the Reds don't get Springer. Then they're gonna go in on Marcell Ozuna a lot. But I also think there's a good chance that the Braves also re-sign him.
Yeah, but I like Ozuna to the Brew Crew.
You're going. I'll choose someone else just to be a little different, so we don't have the same team again. If you're gonna go Ozuna to the Brew Crew, I'm gonna bring him back to the Braves.
How old is he?
Huh?
How old is he?
I think he's like 31, 32.
Yeah, so 4 years.
Maybe like 29, 30. Somewhere in that like middle range. Like he's not like old, but he's not young either. So I'm going Braves. You're going Brewers. We both in agreement on the 4 years, 60.
Yeah, I like 4 years, 60.
I think that's
62, some weird number like that, but
I think 4 years, 60 is a perfect contract for him.
Yeah,
because he's gonna mash, and if they bring back this DH in the NL rule, which I think they should, I like that rule. I don't think he'd be playing much outfield. I think he'll be more of a DH role. So I think if you paid him more than 60, it would be a little bit of an overpay, even though he's a great hitter. We got Liam Hendricks. He is leaving the A's after a great season. He's the first reliever on this list. We don't have many relievers, but he's one of them. I think he gets underpaid. I think he gets very underpaid, and I'll tell you why I think he gets underpaid.
You know who's going to underpay him?
The A's.
The Tampa Bay Rays.
Really? You think the Rays are getting Liam Hendricks? Okay. I would not dislike that. I would like that a lot, actually.
I would love that.
I would like that a lot.
You know how underpaid he is?
But I don't think the Rays get him. I think the Rays are going to spend a lot of their assets if they do go out and get someone on a catcher. And I think if they're going to focus on relievers, it's going to be more of a trade type deal from their farm system because they have a lot of middle infielders.
If Chaz Rowe goes, I wouldn't mind Liam Hendricks coming in.
I would love to see Liam Hendricks come in. I just don't think he does. So what do you have his salary at? Because I don't think he gets paid well. And I'll tell you why in a second. Because we're coming up on a name that did not get his option picked up. So you said 3 years?
2 years.
2 years, okay.
$6 million.
2 years, 6. I think it's gonna be somewhere pretty close to that actually.
Because he's only getting $2 million right now.
6. I have Liam Hendricks going to a team that feels really boring. I think they might have given away. I have him going to the Cardinals.
Yeah, that's a good choice.
Because they have like guys like Jordan Hicks back there who throw heat. Jordan Hicks is a stud, but he doesn't know how to control it, and he's very young. I think the Cardinals underpay him in their pursuit to get Nolan Arenado this offseason. I think they give him a 2-year, $8 million contract. I think he's worth more than that, but I don't think he gets more than that.
I think he's at least like a $5 million guy. At least, dude.
Like AAV, I agree. But I think teams are going to be crying poor this year. And when you have a guy like Brad Hand get his $10 million option declined when he was a, I guess Cy Young candidate, reliever of the year candidate for sure. Dude had an ERA under 1, I believe. I think it was like 0.8 something. Dude was shoving. He got his option declined for less than $10 million. I don't think the market for relievers is going to be good this year. I think that a lot of them are going to get underpaid. So I think a 4 AAV for a guy like Liam Hendricks who shoves is going to be good. I don't have the A's re-signing him. I think the A's are going to cry poor. That brings us to our guy, Charlie Morton. Who do you think officially Charlie Morton goes to?
Who would even want? I don't know. Who would he? Does he re-sign with the Rays?
That's what I'm thinking. I think Charlie Morton re-signs with the Rays for an AAV under $8 million, like 7.5 or a weird number.
Yeah,
for 1 year, like a 1 year contract or something. Like I have him going back to the Rays for 1 year, $7.5 million.
Yeah, I was gonna go 2 years, like 12.5. So that's like a 6.25 AAV.
Yeah.
Poor Charlie.
I hope that guy the best. I love that guy. I really do. I really hope Charlie Morton gets a killer contract somewhere.
Yeah.
I think he deserves a great deal of money, even though I don't think he's gonna perform super well next year. I would like to see him get paid. So you say Rays 2 years, 12.5. Okay. We're about halfway down the list, and then we have a couple questions at the end. We have Marcus Stroman.
I couldn't tell you, dude.
I don't think he gets the money that he's getting hyped up to get.
I don't even know if this guy, like, is he gonna be like a Keuchel where he gets signed like middle of the year type beat?
No, I don't think. I think he has enough hype around him where he's gonna get pursued by big markets.
When's the last time that Stroman's like been Marcus Stroman? Like 3 years ago? He's been injured.
I think 2 years ago. I think 2018 he had a pretty good season. He's had a pretty good. I was looking at his stats today. I don't really remember greatly, but he's had a better career than I give him credit for in my mind. Like he's like a career 3.7 ERA.
He's a good pitcher. It's just he just gets injured.
Yeah.
A lot like a Stanley.
I do not have Stroman getting this big contract like people are hyping him up to get. I think Stroman gets somewhere in like the 3-year, $40 million range. Because I think he's a little overhyped right now, to be honest with you.
You go to San Francisco?
No, I don't think. I think San Francisco's gonna be dealing this year.
You don't think they're gonna get anybody?
No, I don't. I think they're gonna be giving people away. Actually,
replace.
I have Stroman going somewhere up north though. Like I feel like he fits a northern team pretty well. Like honestly,
Rockies.
No, I have him going to the Red Sox.
I mean,
if you think about it, he has AL East experience. He can handle, like, he doesn't give a fuck what the fans think. Like, he can handle that type of stuff, right? I have him going to the Red Sox. They just got rid of Martin Perez, and I think they're going to be buyers. They're going to try to be buyers. I think if they get Marcus Stroman, you can call him buyers. I think he goes to the Red Sox for a little overpaid. I think he goes to the Red Sox for, like, 4 years, like, $50 million.
So the Giants already said that they're for sure not going to like pursue anybody.
Really?
I don't know. I'm trying to look.
Oh, I haven't heard anything like that, but I would be surprised if they're spenders, unless they do another contract agreement or they like offload a contract for somebody for like some prospects.
The Angels miss out on Trevor Bauer, and then they signed Marcus Stroman.
That's what you think?
Because they have the money to overpay Marcus Stroman.
Yeah, that's true. What do you put in the contract at? I think they get rid of Justin Upton this year. I think they offload that contract. I think he goes to the Giants. I think Justin Upton goes to the Giants this year.
3 years. 3 years, and he gets paid a little bit over $15 million. So I'd say 3 years, $50 million.
3 years, 50?
Yeah, because they have the money to overpay him.
Okay. Nelson Cruz. This guy is a Justin Verlander of hitting. He gets better with age. It's unexplainable. He was good with the Mariners. He's been great with the Twins. I do think he gets another chance, but I don't think he gets paid what he should. I think he goes somewhere on a 2-year contract again, like he went with the Twins.
He should have been on the Rays.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Nelly Cruz ends up.
I have him signing an extension with the Twins. Or not signing an extension because I guess he's already a free agent, but re-signing with the Twins.
Re-signing with the Twins.
I have him 2 years, 12 and a half, $15 million.
Yeah, 15. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I'm thinking Twins for 2 years, 15. Honestly, that sounds right. But like, although I feel like he's a better player than that, I don't feel like he should get paid more than that because he's going into 42, 43 if he gets a 2-year contract. So he's a good hitter, but I don't think he should get paid a lot. He's an old man. So you thinking the same thing?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see him going anywhere else.
Yeah,
like,
I don't know.
I was thinking about teams like the Mets, but that would just be like a fuck you money. Like that'd be like Steve Cohen.
Because I think, although I think Steve Cohen is willing to spend his money, I don't think he's just trying to spend it to like flaunt it. Right. So that takes us to Brad Hand. The Indians declined his option for 10 mil yesterday. That really surprised me, but I guess it's also from the Indians, so it doesn't really surprise me in the same sense. I think he falls in the same boat as Liam Hendricks. He's a really good reliever. He's going to get underpaid because no one claimed him off waivers either. They put him up on waivers, no one claimed him. So I feel like that is an indication that the reliever market is either going to develop really late or it's just going to develop really poorly. And I think it's going to be the latter. So I have Brad Hand getting a 2-year, $5 or $6 million contract. I don't see it being a lot. I see it being less than Liam Hendricks. I feel like Liam Hendricks has a lot more hype around him.
To the Phillies.
Dude, they need help. They do need help.
I got him to the Phillies.
I don't think that's a bad pick. I really don't.
3 years.
What if I threw out the...
Wait, what was he getting paid with the Indians? Like 10?
He had an option for 10, but I don't think this year was getting 10. I think he got like 8 something this year. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, he's about to not have that much money.
I think...
Oh no, he's still on his rookie contract.
What if I went and threw a name out here, and I want you to tell me if I'm crazy for throwing this name out here? The Marlins.
No, that's actually a really good pick too.
I think the Marlins are going to be looking to be buyers this year, try to expand. Because, I mean, everyone knows the Marlins overachieved. I don't think they're getting back to postseason, but I don't think that they think they overachieved. Like, I think they think they're here. Does that make sense? Yeah. So I have them going out and getting Brad Hand on a 2-year, $6 million contract. I think that might be like the biggest move they make, though. Like, I don't see them being buyers on anyone like big, you know.
I said Phillies 3 years, $8 million. He gets really underpaid.
Wow, that's I consider that very underpaid.
Yeah, extremely underpaid. But you also have to think about the year we just came off of.
Yeah, that's true. You're looking at a guy like Justin Turner, almost a World Series MVP in his age 36 season. Finally gets his ring. I don't think we could seriously be talking about any other team except for the Dodgers.
Yeah, in a 2-year max deal.
Yeah, I can see him going 3 to age 39. I can see that. It's not like he's really slowed down too much. Like, he's pretty much the same player.
What's he getting right now?
No, I don't think it's crazy. Like, maybe...
Like 10?
10, yeah. I was about to say 10, 12 maybe. I don't think it's something crazy. I think he gets underpaid too because he's old and it's this market this year. I think Justin Turner's looking at re-signing with the Dodgers for 3 years, $20 million.
Yeah, I got 2 years. You said 3 years, $20 million?
Yeah, I think he gets really underpaid because he's old and, you know, like you said, the COVID offseason, I don't know. Owners are definitely going to be crying poor. And the Dodgers did just sign Mookie Betts to a monster extension, so keep that in mind.
Yep. They have unlimited money. I think they signed him to a 2-year, $20 million. I think he gets $10 million.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair. I don't think that's a bad take. I just don't think he's going to get that much.
No. Maybe. More realistically, it would probably be like 2 years, 15. So he gets like 7.5.
Yeah, I'll put you down for 15. Moving on to his teammate Jock Peterson. I think he falls in the same boat. Dodgers were trying to get rid of him last year in a trade. I don't think he goes back to the Dodgers. I don't think they need him. I think he joins Alex Verdugo on the Red Sox.
I like that a lot.
They're losing JBJ, and I don't think they're going back and getting JBJ.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
I think you see Jock Peterson to the Red Sox. If not the Red Sox, and the Angels, because they were also trying to acquire him in that trade. I wouldn't be surprised to see him going to the Angels, filling that Justin Upton role. But I do have him going to the Red Sox. I see him sign like a 4-year, like $30 million deal. Like nothing crazy, but like not horrible. You know.
You don't think he's twinning?
Huh?
You don't think he's twinning?
What do you mean? With who?
The Twins.
Am I missing a joke right now?
Is he twinning? Does he go to the Minnesota Twins?
Oh, I don't know, dude. Because they have
Buxton, Cruz.
They have Buxton. They have
Cruz.
Kepler.
I have Cruz coming back.
They have Buxton, Kepler. Cruz is a DH now. Let's be realistic. He's not going to be an outfielder ever again. You got Buxton, Kepler. You got Kirilloff coming up.
I'm in between two teams. I like the Twins, but I also would really like to see him rocking a Blue Jays uniform.
Really?
Because I think he would fit in perfectly with that crew. I think he would fit in perfectly.
They got rid of Rowdy Tellez, I believe.
Yeah, and
who's their outfield? I mean, you're looking at Randall Grichuk, Teoscar Hernandez, and who's their center fielder?
Gurriel Jr. will stay there. But I think Jocko's. I'm gonna say the Blue Jays. I like that.
Okay, I don't hate that actually. I do kind of like that. Sure, what's your thinking contract wise? Like 3-4 years? What you thinking?
Yeah, probably another. I'd say let's go 4.
Okay.
4 for 45. He doesn't really get paid that much, but
that's more than I gave him credit for. Next name we got Kike Hernandez.
Dodgers.
You think so?
Yeah.
Kind of the utility guy.
No.
They're old. What's his name? Chris. I can't think of his last name. Just kind of torched us.
Chris Taylor.
Yeah, Chris Taylor. He's kind of their old Chris Taylor.
Yeah.
I can see them bringing him back, but like short term, like kind of like a Brock Holt type fit.
Yeah. Like a 2-year.
Just like a fan favorite type guy, like 2-year, $10 million piece or something.
Yeah. I was thinking 2-year, $10 million.
Yeah, I can see that. I'm gonna put us down for the 2 years, $10 million, to the Dodgers. Blake Trinan, another Dodgers free agent. He had 4 Dodgers in a row.
He does. I don't think he goes back.
I think he does.
Mainly because I think there's another team who might pay him more.
I don't know if they're really going to get paid. Like, if you think about Brad Hand and Liam Hendricks, he's not better than either of them. And I think the Dodgers are going to rely on him more now that Kenley Jansen's kind of dealing with some ish. You know what I'm saying? He's not the Kenley Jansen we're accustomed to. So I think.
Do you think Trinan gets paid more than Brad Hand and Liam Hendricks? If the Dodgers re-sign him, I think he does.
If he goes back to the Dodgers, I think he gets a discount. If he goes somewhere else, I do think he gets more money than both of them, although I don't think he's better than either of them at this point in his career. I think he used to be better than them, but at this point, after he left the A's, kind of hasn't been the same. I'm having going to the Dodgers on another 2-year. I'll give him 2 years, 12. Because I do think he gets paid more than them, actually. Now that you really think about it, but I don't think it's by much, and I don't think it's deserved. I think both the other relievers that we've named are better than him, but
because who?
That's just me personally, though. You know who we haven't named?
I'll put him on the Cardinals.
Cardinals? Okay. That's actually not a bad fit. I was thinking about them, too.
3 years, 17 and a half.
17 and a half. Okay. You know what team we have not talked about much, who I think are going to be big-time buyers, are the White Sox.
Yeah.
And with that being said, I think this next name, Masahiro Tanaka, is going to the White Sox.
Yeah, I like that.
I do think they go out and try to get another pitcher because they did lose Dallas Keuchel this free agency. They signed him to like a 1-year like minimum, like league minimum or something after the COVID hit. So I think they go and get Masahiro Tanaka for somewhere like smaller as well. Like I don't think he gets a huge contract. I
was thinking $8 million AAV.
Yeah, I was thinking like 3 years, 20.
Yeah.
Or maybe 3 years, 25. That's around $8 million. I'm gonna go 3 years, $25 million, just because I think he's a good pitcher. I think he's a little under. I think he's actually probably valued pretty well. I think Yankees fans hype him up. Everyone else undervalues him. So I think it evens out.
I'm gonna say that the Padres miss out on Trevor Bauer, and then they sign Masahiro Tanaka.
Okay. You think it's the same type of deal?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
3 years, 24.
Okay. James Paxton kind of in the same boat. Deals with a lot of injuries. I haven't gone back to the Yankees. I think they re-sign him, but I don't think they overpay him. Like I think Cashman's going to be hesitant because he's had to deal with the injuries. He's had injuries since he's been on the Mariners, so I think I think it's fair that James Paxton gets like a $10 million contract, 3 years maybe. Like
I was thinking like 7.5 AAV
for 3 years.
Oh,
I'm
3
thinking
years.
10 mil 3 years, dude. Like I don't. He's not the same pitcher he used to be. And
Yeah,
you're talking about a guy
I
who's had a
think
lot
he
of arm issues, not only just injuries, but arm issues alone. Like he's not getting paid a lot. I got him going back to the Yanks, 3 years, 10 mil.
Yeah, I have him on the Yankees, but 2 years.
And I think it's a late resign too. I don't think they resign him early. I think he's one of those guys like Dallas Keuchel. They kind of, yeah, you can come back. You know, we kind of need pitching because I think the Yankees miss out on a lot of the big arms. I don't think they get Bauer. I don't think they want Stroman, and I don't think they get Morton either. Yeah, I have Paxton going back. So what are you gonna do for him?
No, he's re-signing with the Yankees, but I said 2 years, $12 million.
Okay.
I think they give him $6 million a year.
Okay, that's fair. I don't think it's crazy to think that. I don't think they pay him well. This next guy, I have going to the Rays.
Ooh.
On a Charlie Morton-esque contract. Corey Kluber to the Rays. I think they bring Corey Kluber to the Rays on a 3-year, $30 million contract. I think they like the Charlie Morton trade, and Kluber brings a good presence to a team and can kind of give them like a comeback-ish season on the Rays. I think the Rays make players better, and I think they look at Charlie Morton as a great success, and they want to do the same type of thing. So I think they bring Corey Kluber, who's in the same type of situation in his career, minus the World Series ring that Morton was when they brought him in. I think they want to go 1 year more, though. I think they go 3 years, $30 million to the Rays. How about you? Because I said it. I took that away from you. You can't do it anymore now.
Like, I'd really, if they sign Corey Kluber, I would really like that.
I think it's a good, sneaky deal that the Rangers let go. But the Rangers are also not known for good pitching. The Rays are.
Let me see. Who's even like?
Actually, I don't think the Rays give him $30 million.
Yeah,
and I don't think they give him $30 million only because his injury history.
I thought that was.
And he's kind of older. He's like 34. He's in the same type of thing that Morton's in. I'm giving him $24 million. 3 years, $24 million.
Man, dude, I don't even know.
Right. We got this is
since
second
we
to last
guy. Out,
what's that?
Since we like throwing out the Marlins, let's go with the Marlins. So he pairs up with Sixto.
Okay.
And then he gets 4 years because they like giving out pretty hefty contracts at the Marlins. 4 years. 32 million, 8 million a year.
Okay. So we have the same AAV. We're in the same ballpark. This guy is the last free agent we have on our list. We have 2 trade blocks, Lindor and Arenado, who I think both have the great possibility of moving. And we have 2 more things. Final thoughts. We're done. Jackie Bradley Jr. I think he played his last game in a Red Sox uniform. I don't think he goes back. I think Chaim Bloom comes in there and he's like, you know what? You guys like him, but he's not good. He's not coming back on my team. I think Jackie Bradley Jr. signs a very small AAV somewhere. And I have Jackie Bradley Jr. to the Indians on a 3-year, $8 million contract.
You ready for this one?
Yes, I am. Hit
Jackie
me with it.
Bradley Jr. to the Baltimore Orioles.
Ooh, little Aaron Jones piece? Okay.
JBJ.
Yeah, that's actually not a bad pick.
And then I really don't think he's going to get paid like at all.
Yeah, this would be almost league minimum. Maybe a little bit more.
Dude, I'm going to go like 3 years.
6.
8.
8. That's what I'm going. I'm going 8. I'm going 8 because he has good defense, Golden Glove defense. That is all of our free agent picks. So when these guys sign, we'll mention it in the next podcast that we do. I think whichever ones comes next, and we'll see where we stood when we were thinking about contracts. I think the first couple of signs that happen are going to really determine how this free agency market goes this year. With that being said, we have two big names on the trade block that have been on the trade block supposedly since last season. Francisco Lindor and Nolan Arenado. Let me start this off by saying, do you think either of them gets dealt? And if
Lindor
so,
does.
which one? Or both?
I think Lindor does. I don't know of a team who has assets to trade for Nolan Arenado. I don't know.
I think if Nolan Arenado goes, it's to the Cardinals. They want that Scott Rowland type piece, but I don't think that, because that's the only team that he's been rumored to really been connected to.
Yeah, but
they have the pieces, they have the prospect system to make happen. Because the Rockies want pitching, I think. They have Garrett Hampson to kind of take over. They have they have Arenado's cousin Josh Fuentes to take over if they really need it. I don't think Arenado gets dealt though. I think they find a way to resolve it. So I think he stays there. But Lindor, I do think moves. And 100%. The Cardinals, they just lost Colton Wong. I think they might be like, you know what? We want an Arenado. We can't get him. I think we're right here. Let's go get Lindor. Hope to extend him once we get him. I think he goes to the Cardinals for a pretty hefty prospect. Hot prospect, Dom. I think Liberatore could be part of the deal. The guy they got from the Rays.
You think they get rid of like Harrison Bader too?
Yeah, I think they have to get rid of some kind of young, controllable talent, especially the Indians, because that's all they want is cheap and controllable. They also are really good at developing pitching, so I think they go for some pitching prospects. I think you see Lindor go to the Cardinals or someone like maybe like the Diamondbacks even. First, a couple pitching prospects and a young talent. So I think if he goes to the Cardinals, you're looking at Liberatore, maybe another prospect position player, another prospect pitcher, and someone like you said, Harrison Bader, or who else do they have like piece wise on the team? Maybe like a reliever even. I'm not sure.
Like what team needs like that extra push? Do the A's like make a move? No, there's no way.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, they have the pitching prospects to do it, I think.
It would be a really good move for them, I would think.
Especially if they lose Semien. If they go and got Lindor for a year or rental, I don't see them re-signing him. But with like, because I don't see them re-signing him, I don't think they make the move. Yeah. I don't think they'd be willing to give up a couple like young pitching prospects, especially being a cheap organization as well, like the Rays. I don't see them giving up controllable pieces.
Like, does Lindor really push them over the edge? I don't think so.
I think Lindor is a improvement over Semien, but I don't think, at least not. I don't think defensively it's as much as people might think.
Yeah.
And I don't see them wasting prospects on a 1-year deal that they're not going to re-sign because he's gonna want $320 plus. I think 10 years, $320 plus.
So. It's hard because it's a trade.
Yeah.
Hard to like picture who.
I'm gonna say Lindor to the Cardinals for, like I said, 3 prospects and like a major league level talent. But I don't think Arenado moves.
Because I think of like all these contenders and they have pretty set in stone. Like the Yankees would have to give up like Gleyber or something.
I think if he goes to the Yankees, they're giving up Clark Schmidt or Davey Garcia or both.
Yeah.
I think that's what it's going to take.
You have to take like Gleyber with them.
No, because you can move Gleyber to second if they don't re-sign LeMahieu.
No, I definitely think they're re-signing LeMahieu.
Maybe like a Luke Voit.
Yeah, that would be.
Or Clint Frazier. Aaron Hicks. Miguel Andujar. They have some pieces they can move around.
But I don't want to see that happen, so I'm not going to say that.
Let's not talk that into existence. I think it could happen. I don't think it will.
Dude, I can't. think it's going to be a National League team. But, man, I don't know. All right, I'm just going to say the Yankees then.
Yankees? You're going Yankees? What kind of deal are you thinking?
They'll get rid of.
What major league talent are the Yankees getting rid of?
They'll get rid of Deivi Garcia.
Okay, I think that has to. One of the two are a must.
They'll get rid of probably Clint Frazier. I don't think they're very happy with Clint Frazier.
Cashman doesn't seem to like him for whatever reason. I don't see why. I do think they go back and get Brett Gardner and they just roll with him.
Did he not just?
They did not extend him.
Yeah, I think they get rid of Debbie and Clint Frazier and then like some stud prospects.
I think they get rid of if they give away Debbie and Clint Frazier, because they're gonna want a lot for Frazier. Because even though they don't like him, they know he's good. I think they're gonna give him another prospect, high ceiling, low floor type thing. Could be really good or could just be complete bust. So kind of like a lottery ticket kind of guy.
Definitely a prospect though.
Yeah. We're going to end on 2 Rays moves we think might happen. One, name the Rays may trade and what kind of package it includes. My answer is Manny Margot. And I like Margot, but it's not like he's super important as a team. I know he's a really good bottom with Willie Adames. They made that abundantly clear this season on that broadcast. I think they get rid of Manny Margot and one of our touted middle infield prospects for a high-end relief pitcher, a catcher, someone like a Mike Zunino-esque type player where they're mediocre and try to come over here and get him good, like Travis d'Arnaud almost. And then also another pitching prospect. A high-end pitching prospect. I think that's a pretty fair trade because I know the Rays are trying to offload some of these big-name infield prospects because we have so many. We have guys like Wander Franco. I don't see them getting rid of Willie Adames just of what he brings to the team. And you also have Brandon Lau signed to a 6-year deal. 6-year deal. So 6-year 24, so that's $4 million AAV and team friendly. Yeah, that's what I see happening. How about you?
Margot is good because he seems like it almost feels like he's the only guy that kind of feels expendable. You can get rid of him. You don't want to get rid of G-Man. You don't want to get rid of Sasugo.
I think they would get rid of Sasugo if they got the chance.
Yeah, if he gets traded, but he's not the cornerstone trade piece.
No.
He's one of the guys.
He's a guy that they're trying to offload his contract on. You're telling me this guy got 2 years, $30 million, and hit 170 something. Let's be honest. He came over from Japan and he mashed in Japan, but he's 20 years old and he's trying to get accustomed to a whole new country, a whole new style of game, a whole new pace of the game, and I think he bit off more than I shouldn't say he bit off more than he can chew. I think him coming over to the MLB is a good idea for him, especially on a $30 million contract. I think the Rays bit off more than they can chew, thinking they can get him accustomed that quickly to where he'd be worth $15 million a year. So I think if they offer his contract. I don't know if that's going to happen though.
I think if I had to just pick right now, I think they'd get rid of Joey Wendell and Sasuga. But I don't really want to see Joey Wendell leave.
That guy's a baller, dude.
But if they get rid of Joey Wendell, then do you move Adames to third and then put Wander Franco at short? Or do you put...
So then you would be putting Yandy at first.
No. I think they can get rid of Yandy Diaz.
Yeah, he was a name I was tossing around.
Yeah, no. Save Joey Wendell. I think they'll trade Yandy Diaz and Sasugo for a relief pitcher, like you said. And then I would say a couple of pitching prospects.
Okay.
I don't know if they'll get any position players in return because it really doesn't feel like they need position players.
So Yandy Sasugo for pitching prospects?
Yeah. And then, for a catcher, I think they're just going to have to either trade or maybe actually use their wallets for once and pay somebody.
So the last question before we go to final thoughts. Name one free agent the Rays will sign and what the deal may look like. So I did a little bit of research, and one of the catchers that are not really a notable name in free agency this year is Austin Romine. And this feels so similar to the Zunino trade they went out and did, except it's signing a free agent, so you get to determine the contract. I think Zunino made around $4 million AAV. I don't think Austin Romine gets that. I think they signed Austin Romine to somewhere like a 3-year, $8 million contract. Or I think it's a very real possibility that the Rays go out and get Mitch Moreland, who was just today cleared on waivers. They wanted him on the trade line. He was a name being tossed around along with Josh Bell, but I don't think the Rays would go out and make a trade with the Padres because one, the Padres are going to be asking way too much after what happened last time. I think that played a big role in not getting Josh Bell at this trade deadline, and I think Mitch Moreland could be a great asset to the team. A solid first baseman, everyday first baseman. If they get Mitch Moreland, I have him getting 2 years at $15 million. What are you thinking?
I definitely think they're going to sign a catcher.
They have to. I mean, there's no way you can roll with Kevin Smith. No way.
I mean, let me see something real quick. Do you sign the dude who just stroked off of you in the World Series? Do you sign Austin Barnes?
Is he a free agent this year?
Huh?
Is he a free agent?
I mean, his rookie contract started in 2016, and he's 30.
I don't see him going out and signing the Austin Barnes. If he is a free agent, I think he goes back to the Dodgers because he's kind of been a good mentor for Will Smith, and he knows their staff so well. They really used his veteran presence this year in the postseason.
Oh no, he's going back on a 1-5 deal with the Dodgers.
Gotcha.
Let's see who. I mean, Romine's a good pick, but like it's gonna have to be.
Is James McCann a free agent this year? Let me find out. I think he might be. If I think he is, I think he's a candidate as well.
Free agent catchers.
Okay, so he is a free agent this year. I think James McCann could also be a potential free agent the Rays go out and target. He's making $2.5 million this year. That was before being prorated, I believe. He made 5.4 this year. I think he could be making close to 10 AAV. I mean, he played good with the White Sox. He did. He left the Tigers. In 2018, he signed a 1-year, $2.5 million contract with the White Sox. Played well. They re-signed him again, 1 year, 5.4.
Is this Wilson Romine?
No, this is James McCann.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, that'd be another.
I think he could be a guy that they're going to target on like a 3-year, $25 million type piece, somewhere in that range. If they decide they want to spend like that, which they very well might not. It's going to really depend how Sternberg looks at his finances this offseason.
I think for shits and giggles, they should make an offer to Yadier Molina.
That dude is, if he's not going back to the Cardinals, that guy is retiring, bro. Love Yachty, but no chance he plays for anyone but the Cardinals. I think he values the fact that he's been a Cardinal his whole career, and I don't think he'd ruin that.
Wilson Ramos is a free agent this year.
I don't think they go back to Ramos. I don't. I saw that. I was like, eh. He didn't really play that well with the Mets. He's like a 240 hitter with the Mets.
What about he's a little old. Chirinos from the Mets?
I don't know, man.
He's old though.
I don't know. I think he's gonna re-sign with the Mets.
The more I look at it, I really do like the James McCann pick.
Yeah. I think
he's 30.
Yeah, I think it'd be a great move if the Rays decide to actually do it. I just don't know if the Rays would actually do it. That's the problem.
Are they gonna go get Alex Avila?
No. I think Austin Romine is probably better than Avila. I think the Tigers bring back Avila just because Alavila is also there.
Sandy Leon. Nah, I'm gonna go with
James McCann. Yeah. What do you have their contract being?
You said he was making $10 million with the White Sox?
Right now he's making, or this past season he made 5.4 before being prorated. So
I would say 3 years.
Okay. It's got to be upwards of 15, right? Like,
yeah,
he did because he played well in 2018 and 2019, but then this year he sat behind Grandal because they had Grandal this year.
3 years, $25 million.
That's what I was thinking if they went that route. So final thoughts real quick. Steve, come about the Mets. We talked about that a little bit. AJ Hinch is to manage the Tigers. So I like that for the Tigers a lot, actually. I think AJ Hinch fits in well with them. But that also leaves Alex Cora still out there. Got to go back to the Red Sox, right? He's got to. Like,
the Red Sox.
I'd be very surprised if the Red Sox not go back to him. Tony La Russa is to manage the White Sox. We've already talked. Don't necessarily agree with that. I don't think he's a bad manager, but I don't think he fits with his team very well. And then free agency began. I mean, we talked about all these free agents. Start at 5 p.m. tonight. I saw a tweet today by Jeff Passan, and he was talking about the free agency beginning and how he thinks it's going to be a very slow progressing offseason. I guess we'll have to see.
100.
I think it will be too, to be honest, to get my input. Do you have any final thoughts?
Congrats to the Dodgers, dude.
Yeah, congratulations to the Dodgers.
And the Rays will be back within the next 5 years. So
yeah, I hope the next time we do one of these is next week, but it'll depend on my Wi-Fi connection because I'll be in Georgia. I'll be gone for 10 days starting the 6th. So I'll be back on the 16th. So if we don't get one out next week, then it'll be probably 17th or 18th that we get one out. We want to do these weekly, but it'll have to depend on what kind of news we get during the off season. So make sure you guys let us know how this first episode went. Any feedback is appreciated. If you have any critiques, that'd be awesome. The nicer it is, the more appreciated it is. And I guess we'll catch you guys next time. Anything else to say?
No, that was great. Thanks, guys.
See ya.